Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 98 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm sick and tired of this podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Katie Neal. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Butter, Katie.
Now, Katie, I would have been like, you're welcome.
Today we will be discussing chapter 26 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, The Second Task. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you are ready to skip into the details. Before we begin, let's go to Megan for some weekly profit news.
I like that verb.
Skip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip rocks on a lake.
Mm-hmm.
I like it
Yep,
as
you
well.
can.
So the weekly profit for this week, I was gonna talk about the vans, but I know that you guys talked about that in this past
indeed
weekend's
did.
episode.
Okay,
and
can
it's
I just hear
probably
y'all's
been talked
opinions?
about to death. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we gave her opinion.
I know, but like, we didn't discuss it with her, is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Briefly. I mean, I like some of them, but like the overall collection is just sort of disappointing. I remember whenever they released what they said was a sneak peek, which really ended up turning into the collection, I was like, oh, look, they're just showing us one of each design, but like all of the houses will get all of those. That's what I envisioned this being.
Mhm.
Like,
You are really wrong.
Like
Yeah.
Hufflepuff didn't even get a checkered van.
Yeah.
That's
Neither did Slytherin. Yeah.
yeah. That's what.
But-
Okay, there should be at least for each house 2 designs. One specialty, like the Slytherin had, like the
The
snake.
snake skin, and
And
then
then
the
there
Hufflepuff
should
had
be-
like the logo. Like, that's
Right.
fine, but then everybody should have gotten a checker.
Checker.
That's
yeah,
classic Vans.
nice and simple.
I mean, that's not even a lot of work for them.
I know.
Like, let's be real. Like, that's simple.
Ugh. I don't know.
Katie.
I'm sad.
If it makes you feel any better, your shoes are my favorite out of everything.
They're my least favorite out of everything. I know.
I mean, luckily,
That is
I
sad too.
really like the Slytherin ones, but I wish that they said Slytherin more. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're
It's
Slytherin,
cool to be subtle, but sometimes you want to be
Yeah.
like, I'm Slytherin.
but if I'm
Right.
paying money for, like, a Harry Potter Vans collaboration shoe, like, I want it to be an obvious Harry Potter Vans collaboration shoe, and, like, the Slytherin one doesn't scream that to me. It's cool, and I like it. I don't think I'll buy it, though.
I was so excited. I'm like, Meg, when this comes out, I'm gonna buy a
She
shoe.
was,
and now
yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess not.
I think that if I were to buy a shoe, I would get the Daily Prophet or the Marauders map one, which,
Yeah.
like, to me is
Yeah.
kind of disappointing because, like, I was more excited about the house editions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I
those
mean-
ended up being the cooler ones, in my opinion.
I said, when we were talking about it on the episode that we recorded together, I'm like, I can't say that I was disappointed because I'm like, I always have extremely low expectations for my house.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Right.
And they were
Well, it's
gray and
whatever.
blue, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which we knew
Yeah.
going in because we saw it in the preview. But like, literally having 2 pieces of merch that were Ravenclaw, like, where
2.
Slytherin gets 7 and Gryffindor has 11 pieces. Like, you guys have backpacks.
Yeah.
There's hats.
That's frustrating.
And even Hufflepuff, who's like, they're starting to get a lot more because of the new Fantastic Beasts movies. They also only had 2 pieces of merch.
Yeah.
The
She's
thing that
sick.
bothers me is that, like, Slytherin and Gryffindor have a ton of pieces of merch, but in my opinion, like, they all sucked anyway. So, like, the shirts...
I kind of feel that way too. And I was
Yeah.
talking, I don't think I talked about this with you. The colors that they're going with Gryffindor are not appealing to me.
No, it's
Like,
like,
they're
the bright
changing-
red.
It's like
The-
ketchup and mustard almost.
Yeah.
It is like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
That is a really good way to put it. And I wanted more of that deep red, like wine or maroonish kind of
It's the
color.
same with the green. They're making it like a bright green instead of like the darker green.
Hufflepuff
Yeah.
constantly goes between highlighter yellow and then like
Yeah.
the correct like deep
Mustard
yeah,
yellow,
which
like
is
a deeper
right.
yellow.
Yeah, but like, quit giving me
So-
whiplash and quit screwing all the Ravenclaws. All right.
Right.
And like the backpacks, wasn't impressed. Shirts,
Yeah.
wasn't impressed.
I did enjoy the Deathly Hallows items.
Those, yeah, I liked the Death Eater
And the
shoes,
house.
actually,
Like
but I would
the
never
house
buy
I-
them. But
Yeah.
like those were okay.
People have a lot of feelings about the Death Eater shoes. Well, the Death Eater stuff in general.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would. it's also just not my like style. Like
Correct.
out of all of the shoes, the ones that I would probably get would be the Hufflepuff style.
I love
But you would
and
want
it's
them in
just- I'm not-
Ravenclaw.
Well, and I'm not even gonna bother spending my money on shoes I probably won't wear a ton anyways, and they're kind of like, in my opinion, expensive. But I don't know how much normal Vans run. So
I think
Probably
that they're
so.
pretty comparable, to be honest. I don't think
Yeah.
that they really raised the price because of the collaboration. That's just Vans.
yeah.
So I would probably get, if I were to get a pair of shoes, the Icons ones.
Oh
The-
yeah,
so
I
white
forgot
one.
about those. Those are okay.
So those, and
Yeah.
then there's like a house shirt.
Yeah, with the
it's a
wands.
crew neck. Hold on.
I
Let me
like
see.
the cross. There's one shirt where it's like long sleeve and it has the four like the animals down the sleeve. That's kind of neat. And there's one where it's like wands crossing that are like, it's like a button down short sleeve that I think is cool. But like generally, Meg pointed it out. She's like, the clothing seems kind of lazy. And I was like, yeah, it kind of
the
does.
whole entire collaboration seems lazy to me.
I think
I
they're
mean-
going for like simplistic.
Compare it to
But
the
I'm
Disney
not sure.
collaboration that Vans did. Like, those shoes were amazing.
beautiful.
I don't know if you guys ever remembered seeing pictures of, like, the Buzz Lightyear and Woody shoes that they did. Oh my god, they were so cool. It
Like
was
the
like
bottom
they
said
took-
Andy. Come on.
Yeah, the bottom of the shoes said Andy. And then they took, like, Buzz and Woody's outfits and created the outfits on the Vans. So, like, Woody's checker shirt was, like, on there. And then the top part that, like, came over with the laces was, like, his vest. And the bottom was brown, like, his pants or whatever. Like, it was really well done and executed. And, like, the fact that I know that they have the creative team to... I mean, look at Vans. They're a creative company. Why? Just why?
Why?
I mean, I'll just put it out there that you guys could design better shoes.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Sarah.
Thank you.
So it's
I
the
started a pair.
crew that's got the wine-colored sleeves and the gray chest, and it's got like the H shield in the middle. Like I like that.
It's
like
kind
the
of
slip-on
reminiscent
ornament.
of the Cursed Child sweatshirt you guys got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, maybe the slip-on shoes with like all the houses on them. I don't know. I'm not going to personally purchase any of these things, but I will ask for them for Christmas.
I may ask for the Marauders map and the the Daily Prophet shoes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just still want a pair of slip-on Adidas. That's all I'm asking for.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Vans.
She keeps asking for these shoes. Okay, well, anyway, let's go to the actual weekly profit for this week. So there is some new news about the Hagrid roller coaster. And guys, anytime there's new news about this roller coaster, I'm going to pull it because I'm so excited about it. But Universal uses a virtual line for a handful of their rides. They haven't pushed it out to all of their rides yet, but they have it right now for the Jimmy Fallon ride, for Fast and Furious, and I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically, you download the Universal app, and then once you're in the park, it will only work when you're in the park, which I like. You can then reserve a time to ride the attraction.
Shut your face.
So kind of like a fast pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a little different because you still don't... No, it's exactly the same. It's
It
just
is
on
a
an app.
fast pass. It's just digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's different about it compared to Disney's now is Disney's you can schedule your fast passes 30 days in advance or 60 days in advance if you're staying on property. So at Universal though, you have to be in the park day of in order to get it, which I kind of like because if we're there early in the morning, boom, I can get a time. And then you just go do other things until your time. And when we did Jimmy Fallon this way, literally walk on. I mean, we came up to it, they scanned our pass, and we went on the ride.
It's almost like the old... For anyone who's
The
a
old
theme park
fast pass
nut,
system
it's
at
like
Disney.
the old system at Disney, but digital.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Which I love.
Yeah.
I really love. I loved the old fast pass system at Disney. I like the new one, but that's another conversation. But
Do you think we're going to be able to enjoy the queue, though, if we do this? You know what I mean? You know how I didn't get to enjoy the queue for Forbidden Journey?
yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be
because
separate.
I wonder if it will be a separate. Well, if they make everybody use the virtual line, then you'll probably just go through the regular queue.
Yeah.
And when you scan, once you're in there, you can take as long as you want to get to place that you like get on the attraction, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
as long as they let us go into like the normal line with the virtual line, then I think that it'll be okay. The only thing I'm worried about is like this coaster is going to be much more popular than Jimmy Fallon's ride ever was.
Yeah.
So while I'm saying yes with the virtual line for Jimmy Fallon, we scanned and we walked on, there's probably still going to be a wait with the virtual line even with this one because it's going to be so popular.
Yeah.
So I think we'll still probably end up waiting 45 minutes with this, which I would be okay with because I think without
That's not
this, we would be
hours.
looking at a 4-hour wait.
Yeah, that's a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going, but I 45 minutes I can do. Like
Yeah.
I won't wait for anything over an hour.
Yeah.
Correct. Same.
Are you guys going on Friday? Because you're coming in Thursday, aren't you?
We're
When are
coming
you
in-
trying to ride it?
We're coming in Thursday.
So
We're
Friday.
probably going to go to the parks both Thursday and Friday because
Yeah.
Do
Saturday...
you want to try ride it Thursday night?
I think maybe we'll try and ride it once Thursday and once or twice Friday, depending. Because
Okay.
I want to ride it at
so
least
I'll
twice.
be the once Thursday, and
You
then
have to do it twice.
You have to
though,
do
'cause
it
there's two
twice
different
so you
experiences.
can ride it on the bike and in the sidecar.
Okay, well, let's just see,
See how
if
it goes.
How much vomit
So-
will happen?
Well, I have the non-drowsy Dramamine in my Amazon cart to order when I get home from vacation.
Cool.
And I'm going to try it riding to my hometown in the back seat because sometimes I'll get sick then.
Oh, it's a
So I'm
good
going to
idea.
try it out and see what happens. But usually I don't remember if it worked for me on the ship because I felt so tired. So I don't even
Well, you
know.
also stopped taking it.
Yeah, but I don't remember how I felt, like, if I was just tired or if I was still a little nauseous and tired when I was.
I feel like you said you were just really tired, but I don't remember.
Okay. Well, cross your fingers and say your prayers and send me the vibes.
You guys will have fun.
I think it'll...
Alright.
I'm thinking it'll work. But I don't... So on opening day, just for if there's anybody listening who is going to this attraction on opening day, lucky you, I'm jealous. But first of all,
Put on your sunscreen.
yes, they may not be using the virtual line until the second day. Because the first day is just going to be so crazy that they're just going to kind of let it go. And you're just going to wait in line. So don't expect to use this if you're going to go on opening day. It's probably going to start the next day or two after that is when they'll start implementing the virtual line. But let me tell you, the virtual line is amazing. It's amazing.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be fun.
really
It'll
hope
be nice
it works.
to know, you know?
Yeah. Because we can, get our time for that and then just go and enjoy, maybe even go on Forbidden, well, I don't know if Tiffany will go on Forbidden Journey, but,
You guys have really high hopes for me, and I think it's really cute.
we could go
Honestly,
walk
I
around the
would
shops in
love-
Hogsmeade.
Well,
a butterbeer.
see, the thing
Yeah, get a
is,
butterbeer.
if the medicine works, I would love to go on that again and actually see the ride.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to be so nervous that I'm going to bomb. I mean, the ride's not that long, though.
Yeah. I wonder how busy it's going to be, because, I mean, it's summer anyways, and then that ride's opening, but I guess everyone's going to want to ride Hagrid's ride.
It's summer. It's a weekend. Well, Thursday and Friday should be okay. Saturday will be.
Is August really that busy down there, though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is.
Is it?
It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
Right. Whatever.
June, July, August are the busiest months besides the week after Christmas.
Do you know what I need, though? I need the park to shut down again and us to go to another park party. Because I think
Yes.
that was amazing.
Call them up, be like, Swish and Flick would like to have
Swish
a...
and Flick would like to do
party.
a private event.
Yeah.
And just have like a gigantic meetup. Can this happen?
That would be amazing.
Be like, if you charge people, then don't charge us.
We could do the Swishmas down there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, how cool would that
That would be so cool. All right. Shall we move on?
be? Yes.
Silence.
Yes. Anyone?
Oh, I
Bueller?
said yeah, sorry. I said yes.
Oh. Katie, I'm looking at you. Can you see me?
I can't see your eyes.
I
I literally can see you from your nose down. There you are. Thanks, Tiff. Alright, so last time Harry finally took Cedric's advice and he took a bath. Thank God, teenage boys, they can get a little smelly.
Oh my.
With help from Moaning Myrtle, he finally figures out the second task. Mer people in the lake, but how the heck is he supposed to breathe underwater for a whole hour? So he almost gets thrown out of Hogwarts for the umpteenth time, but Judy saves the day. But why did Harry see Barty Crouch on the Marauders map snooping around Snape's office? What are you doing at 1 a.m, Mr. Crouch?
He's so good looking.
Oh.
He is.
Okay.
David
David
Tennant?
Tennant?
Yes.
He's no Marty O'Malley. but-
Oh, gross. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
I am.
Hermione isn't pleased that Harry actually hasn't figured out what the excellent clue he's had since November is.
Oh my god.
They've had some conversations over banishing cushions and flying Flitwicks. Harry gets a letter from Sirius, and he tries for a long time to figure out how he's going to do this second task. So the night before the task, Hermione and Ron are whisked away from him and from Harry. And I wonder why. What's going to happen?
I don't know.
And Harry still hasn't figured out what to do. Dobby helps him out literally in the last second, 15 minutes before he's supposed to be down at the task. And then whoosh, the champions are now underwater and Harry sees a whole new world. But he doesn't want to be a part of that world. He finds what was stolen. And also helps with Fleur's missing itemish, aka her sister. Harry, well, I didn't call her an item, you know what I mean? It's just mean. Her hostage, and I don't like that they keep calling them that in this chapter. They're hostage. Harry didn't fare well in the time department, but the fact that he saved 2 people gives him more points, and he ties for first with Mr. Cedric Diggory himself. And I said, Harry then plans to buy Dobby all the socks ever made.
It's very nice of you, Harry.
That is nice of Harry.
Oh, goodness. Where is your bell, Katie?
I got it.
You missed a 2.
Oh, so sorry.
15. Woof.
I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding, but I love you, so it's fine.
Yeah, I guess I love you too.
What?
Well, you're being very rude this morning.
That's vacation tip.
Okay,
Rude.
well, listen, I'm not the one that rolled over on some avocado toast.
Some avocado toast.
I got some avocados.
Avocado toast.
That sounds like the
Fresh
killing
avocado.
toast. Okay, here we go. Hermione is annoyed that Harry's lying about working on his egg. Like, straight up lying. And Harry has no time for this nonsense because he needs to tell her about Snape and Judy. But everyone is having way too much fun in class to bother paying attention to the trio. So for a half an hour, which is 30 minutes.
Oh, like, why are you saying it like that? 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Harry had been telling them about his castle adventure. Ron is very interested in hearing about Moody searching through Snape's office, because I feel like anything that can get to Snape is something that's awesome in Ron's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they don't know if Dumbledore asked him to do this, but he's doing it anyways. And I said, nah, he's stealing. But it's a great thought to think that maybe Dumbledore was asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's thinking.
Well, I think he put that in his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe. A lot of weird silences.
Oh, I'm tired, man.
Harry wasn't focusing on what he was doing with his wand and his cushion, but belly flopped. And I liked that. So I added that in my notes. Ron has the genius idea that Judy thinks Snape put Harry's name into the goblet because Judy said Snape is getting a second chance, and that's why he's allowed to stay at Hogwarts. Hermione dismisses this because of past events. But he's right that Snape is getting a second chance.
Yeah, but she's
Yeah.
also right being like, why would he try to, like, kill you when he tried to save you? You know what I mean?
No, I know, but, like,
They both right.
Ron has... It's
Ron's got
Ron
an
you guy.
idea. Ron's got a good
Ron-
idea here.
Yeah.
Ron
No, he's thinking, and that's what I enjoy about her. You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag.
Well,
I enjoy what he thinks.
but
Using your
honestly,
noggin.
a lot of the times he goes off of his emotions, and he goes very fast, but I feel like he's thinking about these things.
I also think that people forget that he is not dumb in the books.
Correct. That's why I want to point out
sure.
his geniuses.
He ain't no dummy.
Hermione's cushion makes it perfectly into the box that they are supposed to be placing them in. Quote, I don't care what Moody says, Hermione went on. Dumbledore's not stupid. He was right to trust Hagrid and Professor Lupin, even though loads of people wouldn't have given them jobs. So why shouldn't he be right about Snape, even if Snape is a bit evil? Ron said promptly. Come on, Hermione.
Evil.
Do you know what that's from?
Yeah,
SpongeBob?
Yeah, I'm so proud of you!
Come on, Hermione. Why are all these dark wizard catchers searching his office then? Thoughts to think.
All of
jelly-
these dark wizard catchers, you mean one?
Honestly, I think, like, aside from, like, obviously stealing ingredients and stuff, I bet he did do some poking around, you know, because he hates him.
For sure.
Yeah.
He hates him. Judy hates Snape, if you don't know who I'm talking about.
I wonder if he's, like, looking to see, does he have anything that's, like, tying back to our Lord and Savior, Lord Voldemort? Lord V. Lord V.
I bet he has a lot of for Voldemort and Valor stuff up in there.
Oh, shiz.
Then, the question of Mr. Crouch comes up. Why is he pretending to be sick? And Ron points out that Hermione just doesn't like Crouch simply because of Winky, and she points out that he only wants Snape to be up to something.
It's like they're married already.
Honest to God.
By the end
Sarah,
of it,
you
she's
owe me
very
a
jealous
Coke.
that she gets a kiss on his cheek.
But this right here. Listen, I just want to know what Snape did with his first chance if he's on his second one.
I mean, I'd like to know as well.
Said Harry grimly, and his cushion, to his very great surprise, flew straight across the room and landed neatly on top of Hermione's.
I mean, it does all have to do with him, you know?
But, like, yikes.
Yeah.
Like, just reading that coming out of Harry, I was like,
And think about how just before he wasn't focused enough where his pillow flops, and now he's, like, almost not even being able to, like, he's not even thinking about it and it lands neatly, like, to his surprise.
That's some
Magic.
deep level stuff.
Dude. Keeping his word to Sirius, he used a brown owl. Nope, not a cow.
How now, brown cow?
Mr. Brown, can you? An owl that night, explaining about Mr. Crouch breaking into Snape's office and the Judy and Snape conversation, as it will be known from now on. So now Harry had to focus on the real matter at hand, surviving underwater for an hour on the 24th of February. And coming from the chapter...
24, sorry, missed it.
February month, missed it.
I always have to spell February in my head, Feb-woo-airy.
Me too.
I do that like Wednesday.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm an adult.
Thursday, the third day.
It's the third day.
Monday,
Wednesday,
one day. Tuesday, two
two
day.
day.
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
what?
what?
Thursday,
Thursday.
the third day.
Watch Friends.
So good.
I don't know if I said this before. Quoting from the chapter. Ron quite liked the idea of using the summoning charm again. Harry had explained about aqualungs, and Ron, aqualungs mean, like, diving equipment, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Ron couldn't see why Harry shouldn't summon one from the nearest Muggle town. Hermione squashed this plan by pointing out that it is an unlikely event that Harry managed to learn how to operate an aqualung within the set limit of an hour. He was sure to be disqualified for breaking the international code of wizarding secrecy. It was too much to hope that no Muggles would spot an aqualung zooming across the countryside to Hogwarts. Can you imagine?
Oh my god.
Just some flippers in a tank.
Oh god.
Hermione says the solution for this is for Harry to transform himself into a submarine, but they haven't done human transformations yet. That is a 6th year lesson and it can go badly wrong. And I said, yeah, definitely. And Harry is not into the idea anyway.
Someone else uses the Bailey Transfiguration Charm. Well, whatever.
True that.
At the end of the chapter.
Sharkhead.
You know, I kind of
Sure.
feel like this is foreshadowing to one way that they could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Harry's just not advanced to do that. But, like, Hermione's brain is on the right path, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But neither was Crumb, so...
Crumb!
True.
Maybe he's just not good at transfiguration.
Maybe he's just not good at magic and just good at flying, because I think that's probably true.
That's fair.
Whoa.
Sorry.
He strikes me as someone that would be good at, like, maybe dueling and,
Bad wizard stuff.
Oh.
No, I just
I'm
feel like...
joking.
He's not a bad wizard.
What other subject?
What are, like, sporty people really good at? Like, he's a sport dude, you know what I mean? Like, all bronze, no brain. Not all sporty people are like that. I'm just saying. But he seems more of, like, a brutish kind of dude. All brawn, no brains, you know what I mean? Not that he has no brains, obviously. He has something to talk to
Okay,
Hermione
you're talking
about.
in a circle. We know what you mean.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Don't hit me, I'll hit me.
I don't know. I was thinking, like, maybe charms.
If he was good at charms, he would have come up with the bubblehead charm.
Okay. Maybe they hadn't learned that. Why didn't Harry or Hermione learn that? Hermione's good at stuff.
Hermione?
Because it's probably 6th year stuff.
But also,
She sound like 9th year stuff.
What do they learn at Durmstrang? If it's not dark arts, they ain't learning it. I'm just saying.
What if his education was messed up because of that?
I guarantee you it was.
Yeah, for sure.
What if, like,
They don't know how to,
defense
like...
against the dark arts is just the dark arts?
They don't have, like, herbology. They aren't planting no flowers. What they're doing is they're growing mandrakes so they can kill.
What is wrong with you? You're out of here.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. Oh, man. Quote, yeah, I don't fancy walking around with a periscope sticking out of my head, said Harry. I suppose I could always attack someone in front of Moody. He might do it for me. Hermione is thinking that Harry's best bet is some kind of charm.
See, girl smart.
The trio searched in the library at all their free times, lunches, evenings, weekends, no fun for them. Harry even got a note for the restricted section from McGee, and still he found nothing that would enable him to breathe underwater for an hour. And so now he's starting to panic. And I said, like, seriously, rightfully so. This, like, water and this would terrify me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was finding it difficult to concentrate in all of his classes. And I like this little ending quote from my section. Quote, the lake, which Harry had always taken for granted as just another feature of the grounds, drew his eyes whenever he was near a classroom window. A great iron gray mass of chilly water, whose dark and icy depths were starting to seem as distant as the moon. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping to the future. Meg's turn.
What is this, Men in Black?
I haven't seen either one of those movies in a long time, but I think it's more Space Jam than
Yeah,
the other one.
Space Jam.
Oh, wait, I was definitely thinking Space Jam. I said the wrong movie. Sorry.
Two completely different movies.
like wildly different. Well, no, I mean there's aliens, but
Yeah, see, there's aliens.
aliens.
I was going to agree with you, Tiffany, that this task would terrify me.
Yeah.
All right. So, there was, at this point, Harry had 2 days left until the task. And he was so nervous about it, he stopped eating. I can't ever imagine doing this because I love food so much, but
I have been nervous once in my life so bad that I couldn't eat. And if I can't eat, you know something's happening. You know something's going down.
It's only happened to me once too. Yeah, but it's a bad feeling because
Yeah.
you feel sick and you're just like, if I eat something, I literally am just going to be sick. So they're in the Great Hall, and he gets an owl back from Sirius, but it's literally the shortest letter he's ever gotten from Sirius, and it just says, send date of next Hogsmeade weekend by return owl. And Hermione tells him that it's the weekend after next, but Harry is so upset with himself for not having asked Sirius for any advice on how to survive being underwater for an hour because he was way too focused about telling him all about Snape and Judy. So after breakfast, they head down to Care of Magical Creatures, and ever since Hagrid came back, he just kind of continued on with Professor Grubbly Plank's lessons with the unicorns. And anyway, there's only 2 Scroots left, so what are they going to do with them? So, today...
Do you think the Scroots died out then? Like, because Hagrid created them?
I bet.
And then all of a sudden they're just gone?
Yeah, probably.
I never thought
Yeah, but there's a Scroot in the maze.
Yeah,
True.
I'm just saying, like, I bet you these 2, like, that's literally all that's left, period. And when they're gone, like, Scroots are gone.
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what
but you can always make more Scroots. Illegally.
Illegally. So today in class they're studying 2 unicorn fowls, and they're... What? 2. Oh, 2. I'm like... they are pure...
I was like, what are you saying? What?
Oh, wait, it's not fowls either. It's foals. Sorry, I said that wrong. F-O-A-L-S. Foals. 2 unicorn
They're not
foals.
birds.
Yeah. They are pure gold when they're babies. Pavarti and Lavender are just absolutely freaking out with delight. And even Pansy Parkinson is having a very hard time not showing that she's excited about this lesson. And let me tell you, it's got to be pretty hard for Pansy to actually show some excitement emotion around a Hagrid lesson.
True.
Unicorns, obviously we know them to be pure white. However, like, their progression of growing up, so when they're born, they're gold. Then they turn to silver at about 2. Their horns come in around 4. And then they don't go pure white until they're fully grown, which is about 7. Which is...
That's pretty sweet.
Perfect. They're a little bit more trusting whenever they're young, and they don't mind boys too much. So I think that is partially why they're using them, so that everybody can enjoy it instead of Professor Grumbly Plank's idea of having a white one, and only the girls can be by it. Yes.
I just would like to point out to all my Hagrid haters out there, 1, you're dumb.
Whoa! Whoa!
I didn't really mean that, but talking about how, you know, you learn from Grubbly Plank that, like, they usually prefer a woman's touch and blah, 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 blah. Don't talk bad about my Hagrid. He was able to catch 2 little baby ones. And I know they're more trusting and all that stuff, but, like...
He didn't catch them. They snuggled up to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a mama bear.
Yeah, he is.
I need a
And I love
picture.
him.
You guys.
Somebody draw us an illustration of Hagrid and the
With
2
2
baby golden unicorns snuggling into him in the forest.
If you even put a little old me in there, I wouldn't hate it.
Fozzie Bear has now joined the podcast.
Hey, Foz.
Hey, Foz. So they're feeding the babies sugar lumps. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I used to eat them.
Dude, they're the best.
I
Sugar
did
cubes,
too.
That's why you never shut up as a kid.
Yeah,
For sure.
I
used
was
to
the
eat
same
them.
way. It's fine. So then Hagrid asks Harry if he's okay, and then is basically the ultimate father figure, and I'm going to read his little convo from the chapter. So he says, "Harry," said Hagrid, clapping a massive hand on his shoulder so that Harry's knees buckled under its weight. "I'd have been worried before I saw you take on that horntail, but I know now you can do anything you set your mind to. I'm not worried at all. You're going to be fine. Got your clue worked out, haven't you?" Harry nodded.
Harry.
You know, like a liar.
Yeah.
But even
But it's like one of those things, you know that meme online where it's the guy that's sitting there. I don't think it's a guy. I think it's a dog sitting at the kitchen table drinking like coffee, and he's like, everything's fine, but everything's burning around
yes.
him. That's Harry.
That's
Yes.
Harry.
Everything's fine. I have the clue worked out.
Dude, someone draw that one too with Harry.
No, just take the already existing one and just
Put it
Photoshop.
Photoshop Harry on it.
With the egg on the table instead
Oh
of coffee.
my god. Oh my god.
But like, do it in such a bad way where like you cut a square out and just stick it up.
Guys, I got this. I got this.
So Harry nodded, but even as he did so, an insane urge to confess that he didn't have any idea how to survive at the bottom of the lake for an hour came over him. He looked up at Hagrid. Perhaps he had to go into the lake sometimes to deal with the creatures in it. He looked after everything else on the grounds after all. You're going to win, Hagrid growled, patting Harry's shoulder again so that Harry actually felt himself sink a couple of inches into the soft ground. I know it. I can feel it. You're going to win. So, I think that...
Not wrong.
Hold on. Is Hagrid a seer?
You're a seer. He's a seer. We're all seers.
Hey!
I also just wanted to point out that I always thought that it was, like, insanely crazy that Hagrid, like, pushed Harry into the ground. But after going to Scotland, the ground is really soft there, so it's not as impressive as it used to be when I was younger.
Oh.
But he's also, like, a massive man, you know what I mean?
I know. I'm just like, that's just
It
funny.
makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Hagrid is a man, like SpongeBob. Like, now that we're men, he can do anything.
Now that we're men.
That's awesome. I thought you had some lunch stuck on your face.
Now that we're men, we can do anything. Now that we're men, we are invincible.
So, Harry felt awful. He couldn't bring himself to wipe the happy, confident smile off of Hagrid's face, so he just smiled and went to pat the unicorns. So now it's the evening before the second task, and Harry literally feels like he's trapped in a nightmare. And I feel so bad for him right now, because, like, honestly, and I've always thought this, and I don't know if we've discussed this or not before, but, like, I literally cannot believe that they wouldn't have found the bubblehead charm.
I can't either.
Yes.
How would they not have found the bubblehead
Hermione.
charm?
How would Hermione not know about that charm?
Maybe.
Maybe they need Wizards Google.
Or,
Yeah,
honestly.
honestly.
Google.
But maybe there's only one book on it, and Cedric took it out.
Shouldn't
Maybe.
there? Ooh.
Ooh,
That is
what a
true.
jerk. He kept it.
Because, like, we know that Hermione has read every single book in that library
That is natural.
5 times before she even started at Hogwarts, okay?
Oh my god. But honestly, shouldn't there be a spell, like, that you could do in the library that would bring you books on that given topic?
I would think
Or do you
so.
think
That'd
they're,
be
like,
awesome.
so old school, they're like, no.
I bet Madam
Check it out.
Pince has a block against that so she doesn't lose her job. Because she's mean.
True, that, or it would cause more of a mess because so many books could be coming out at one time.
You'd just be like walking and a book would hit you in the face because someone summoned it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I will say, that makes me nervous, because, like, what if you damage the books? I think a Reparo can only go so far.
Yeah, true.
A Reparo can only go so far.
I'm just saying.
There's so many options for episode titles, and only in part way into Megan's section.
I just, like, I don't know, I was just always mind blown that, like, that they didn't find that. And I feel like maybe Jo has touched on that before at one point. I'm pretty sure that that's a question that was asked of her. And, like, obviously, I think the basic answer is, well, it wouldn't have played out the way that it did had he found it. But to me, like, it just seems very odd that Hermione wouldn't have found that.
Well, also, maybe she wanted to show, like, so we see both Fleur and Cedric use the bubblehead charm. We see Crumb do the bad transfiguration. Maybe they're like, there's another way. So here's another way that they could do it, showing you gillyweed, you know?
Excuse me.
Like, Neville is a little bit important. Dobby, Neville in the movies more so, like, in this section. But, you know, it's interesting.
Maybe it's just the fact that, like with Transfiguration, they don't hit that until later.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so Bubblehead Charm seems, like, kind of silly and simple, right? But that's literally creating oxygen for a long period of time.
Right.
So
yeah,
that does
it's
seem like pretty
definitely-
advanced magic that I've never thought of before.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It just is still weird that they wouldn't come across it, because it doesn't seem like some hidden piece of magic.
Yeah.
But again, it would not have played out
It's,
the way it did.
It's in the script, you know? It's in the
Right.
script.
Right. Right.
Some people suggest the correct answer is obviously we don't know unless J.K. Rowling confirms something as to why they didn't find it. However, here are a number of plausible explanations. This is on Sci-Fi Stack Exchange. We pull stuff from here sometimes. It's just like a message board.
Like, so much, though.
Yeah, I know. They have a lot of people ask a lot of good questions on here.
Yeah, agreed.
So it says, my personal explanation, this person, not me, for this was that the charm was not intended to be used for underwater purposes, but rather a sort of comforting purpose, like filtering out smells or toxins in the air.
Huh.
So because they were searching specifically for, like,
Water.
underwater things, maybe that's why they didn't come across it. Breathing underwater maybe an explanation that experienced wizards such as Karkaroff or Madame Maxime may have thought of, but it was not possible for inexperienced kids, such as the trio, to think of that. So I feel that there are a number of instances where Hermione fails to apply her knowledge in practical purposes. For instance, I think it's one of them is with fire and Devil's Snare.
We just need some wood. Are you a witch or not?
Exactly.
Are you a witch or not?
So, like,
good.
sometimes her head is so stuck in books and, you know, schooling and that kind of stuff that sometimes she forgets about real world applications of what she knows.
How many times have you been in a situation where you're really stressed out and the obvious answer
Is literally right
the
in front
last
of you.
thing you think of too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
But
later
it's, like,
on,
so obvious.
Right,
You're like, how did I not think of that?
right. So okay.
Oftentimes I'll do that with conversations. You know what I mean? Where you know that you have, like, ammunition, for lack of a better word, and it, like, doesn't come out, and then you go back and you sit down and you think of all of that. I do that with conversations a lot, where I just forget, like, the things that I need to say or intended to say because, you know, their responses aren't what you, like, prepared for, so you have to go do things. But then I also think of people, like, in the emergency medical fields, where, like, you have to think on your feet, and people like that are so good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And fortunate, but unfortunately enough for me, like, I've been involved in 2, like, emergency situations. Like, I saw a car crash, and we helped with the people that were in it. And then a couple summers ago, we watched a car hit a horse and buggy. And so we were on scene for that. Luckily, they were all fine. It was a miracle. I don't know how nobody died. But, like, in those situations, I was actually, like, weirdly calm and, like, did all the things that I knew would be okay because my sister worked in the ER. And it was just so weird. But then when I got in, like, the car afterwards, like, I had, like, a crash and, like, would, like, cry.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's so
I can be
weird.
like that. I can be
But, like,
that.
yeah, and, you know, like, some situations you're really good at, like, doing stuff, and then some situations you're just, like, not, and you're like, oh, man, I wish I would have said X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
how I feel like this is.
I feel better about this now.
Yeah, no, I like this one, and this is, like, basically saying the same thing, but in a different way. It says another alternative, or, you know, speculation only, is that the text says that they were looking for ways to survive without oxygen. And as less experienced students, they may have been blinded by their first idea to the alternative idea of his bringing oxygen with him. Harry saying, well, why don't I just get aqua lungs? Well, that actually kind of was a good idea, right? Like, that's exactly what he should have done. But they're thinking, how do I survive without it? When in reality, they could have been thinking, how can I bring it with me?
Right.
So it could have just been how they were searching.
They should have pulled a SpongeBob and put a pickle
interesting.
jar in their head.
You know?
Or no, yeah, Sandy.
There's
I
a
wonder,
lot of SpongeBob references in this episode.
I wonder if he had used a bubble charm, if he would have gotten as many points.
True.
You know, because he was a little ingenious using the gillyweed. Now, had he found it himself, we might have been a little bit more impressed. But the judges don't know how he got it.
True.
Cheating. They're all cheating.
Is it
But
really
not for
cheating,
lack
though?
of
Because
trying.
he didn't go and ask Dobby to bring it to him. Dobby just brought it to him. And, like,
Whoa, spoiler.
would you
Whoa,
turn
whoa.
it down?
And, like, he didn't not look, you know what I mean? It's not like I just sat
No.
like, he just sat around with, like, his feet up being
Right.
like, I'll figure it out in Harry Potter.
Correct.
He searched and searched and searched.
I was going to say that. I was like, he didn't do a Harry Potter where he was just like,
I'm the chosen one.
laziness and then, oop, something happened.
I can't die. Voldemort's got to kill me.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, though, what if he just lived his life that way? He's just like, I'm gonna jump into this lake.
Swan dive. 10
Powder
points for
dive.
Harry and his big old splash. Cannonball.
What, Katie?
I don't remember what I said.
Cannonball?
No, that was Sarah.
Oh, I don't... All right, but
our nonsense over here is clouding everyone's judgment today.
anyway, so it wasn't without lack of trying, like we said. He did, they did try really hard to find something. But anyway, so the evening before the second task, Harry felt like he was trapped in a nightmare. That's where I left off. Even if he found something, he would have a hard time mastering it overnight because, again, they are still thinking, they're in their mindset right now, they're thinking charm, I have to come up with a charm that I can do. So how could he let this happen? Why hadn't he got to work on the egg's clue sooner? Why had he ever let his mind wander in class? What if a teacher had once mentioned how to breathe underwater? Literally, this is like everyone's mind who's a procrastinator at the last moment. Like, why did I do this to myself? What was I thinking? Maybe the answer was said to me before and I just,
And then you're gonna like,
paying
I'm never gonna
attention.
do it again.
And then you do it again.
You're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
It's like that meme of that guy looking in the mirror pointing at himself and it goes, why are you like this? That's literally me.
I asked myself that multiple times.
I know.
So the trio is still in the library, and they are just tearing feverishly through books, page after page of spells, hidden behind massive piles of books, and Harry's getting excited anytime he even just sees the word water. So Ron, I think this is so Ron, he's just like, can't be done. This is just it. There's no way. The closest thing that they found was the drought charm, which dries up puddles and ponds, but that was not going to be powerful enough for the Black Lake, which is massive.
Can you imagine if you just drain the lake?
I mean, that would be hilarious.
There's all these mer people.
And then
Oh
there's
my God.
Crumb, who's like half shark, just like...
That's so mean. They'll be fine. Just put it all back. Water backo.
Water backo.
Where does it go if you suck up all the water?
Into the air.
Evaporates.
It's gonna start
into
to rain.
Yeah.
It might. It's
Yeah,
gonna have one little rain cloud over the lake, so all the water goes right back in.
I am a little black rain.
Mhm.
Floating
That's
Katie.
exactly.
over.
I was thinking that same thing.
Honey bee.
So Ron is just like, it can't be done. And then Hermione insists there has to be something. They wouldn't set a task that's undoable, which is true. But Ron just tells Harry, you just got to go down to the lake tomorrow, stick your head in, and yell at the mer people to give back whatever they took and see if they chuck it out. Best you can do, mate.
Ron.
But at least he's positive.
At least he's just like, Harry, you do this, you're gonna be embarrassed. I got you.
I got you. I'm still your friend.
He could go Starkers and like put the attention on him.
There you go.
So Hermione is just, she's like, no, there has to be a way. She seemed to have taken the library's lack of useful information as a personal insult, which is so true. Like, she was so mad about this.
She was.
And then Harry's like, well, maybe I just should learn how to turn into a frog. And then...
I'm in for that.
Yeah. But too bad you can't decide what animal you turn into, as Hermione will tell you.
What
Not
if he
up
was
to
a
you.
frog with little glasses and a scar?
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god. What if he was an aqualung?
Green.
I need another picture.
Oh my god. What animal do you think he would turn into? Do you think he'd be a stag?
In the water?
Probably.
Oh
No,
my god.
he's trying to become an animagus.
He'd be a little young stag with little nubs instead of horns yet.
Oh, and then it would turn into
Oh,
actual
God.
horns later. Oh my god, yeah, that's it.
Extra horns.
Hermione is so tired, though. Like, she doesn't get that Harry is just joking at this point, and then she goes into this rant about all the reasons why that's a dumb idea, and that it won't work.
I do that sometimes where, like, people will say something, and I'm like, okay, well,
No.
that's not actually true. And they're like, it was a joke. And I'm like, well, it's wrong.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
This is why your theory and your joke is fundamentally wrong.
This is why your sense of humor is wrong.
I remember reading this part for the first time, and, like, seeing Hermione get so fed up with this. I was just like, oh my god, like, what is he gonna do? This is the end. He's
Yeah,
not.
especially if she has no idea.
If she doesn't know what to do, they're screwed. But even Hermione is, like, giving up at this point, and she just goes, oh, this is no use. Who on earth wants to make their nose hair into ringlets?
So weird.
I would love to flip through a spell book and see everything that, like,
Oh my god.
you could do with magic, you know what I mean?
I mean, just imagine.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
Every time you guys say, can you imagine or whatever,
Imagination?
no, I think of Hamilton because it's like, forgiveness, can you imagine?
Okay.
It's part of one of my favorite songs because it's super sad.
Is it part of your world?
It's all part of my world. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't
No.
you think my collection's complete?
No.
Different movie.
Got plenty of Harry Potter things. I've got lots of books and wands and treats.
Treats?
Treats?
Yeah, chocolate frogs, birdie bots.
What?
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? I will stop singing
You
so we
think
can
my
move
Harry
on.
Potter
So the
collection's
podcast could be
complete?
complete.
Never.
No.
I love how we're all
You say
singing. a
I
different
never
version.
stop singing?
No, I said, wouldn't you think my Harry Potter collection is complete? No.
Did I just say that too?
Did you?
Wouldn't you think that
Did
a
I?
girl
I don't know. We'll hear it
I'm
later.
a girl who
almost
has
everything.
everything.
You guys are weird. Can I go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want all the Harry Potter
Yeah, it's
things.
yellow.
I wish Ravenclaw colors were the correct ones.
But
That'll
true.
never happen this lifetime.
I'll just go cry in my bed, wondering why they can't get them right.
Just go to Etsy. Those people got it right.
Yeah. Shout out to Etsy.
I'm sorry, you can sing now. I mean,
I have to sing my whole section out? No.
The whole
people
thing,
did
like
like
Harry.
them.
I would like
Harriet.
Harriet number 2 to read your section.
Oh god. Harriet's sleeping.
She needs her own name. Think about
We'll
it.
call her.
Bertha.
I
What'd
was
she
gonna
say?
call her Harriet. You know, Harriet
No,
too.
I like Bertha.
Bertha.
No, not Bertha.
Yeah, like Big Bertha.
From
It's
Mario.
From Mario,
It could
yeah.
be
Big
Harry
Bertha
and
the
Terry.
fish.
I do like that.
Terry,
Yeah, Harry and Terry.
I'm in.
Harriet and Terriet. We're best friends. We're buddies. We do things together.
They drive in a chariot.
Harriet is for Haraz, and Terriet is for Terwilliger.
Oh my god.
Oh. Fozzie is not impressed.
Foz. Sorry. That's just how it
Foz.
is.
Fozzington does anything a Fozzington does.
His
Does he
dream-
like you? No, he doesn't. Fozzington.
Spider
what-
Pig. Spider Pig. Does whatever a Spider Pig does.
Which?
Guys,
Did I just quote The Simpsons?
you did.
Ugh.
And he
Okay.
calls him Harry Potter.
That's true. Katie,
it ties in.
You made it again.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Fred and George show up in the middle of all this research, and they came for Ron and Hermione because McGee wants them in her office, and apparently she was looking pretty grim about it.
Uh-oh.
So Harry feels his stomach drop because he's like, oh my god, are they in trouble because, I don't know, like the teachers have noticed that they've been helping me too much. But Hermione's like, it's alright, just like grab as many books as you can. We'll meet you in the common room. So Harry's...
you-
No, you won't. Like a liar. So Harry stays there as long as he can until Madame Pince shoos him out when the library's closed. And he gets a bunch of books. He heads back to the common room. But best book title ever, Powers You Never Knew You Had and What to Do with Them Now That You've Wised Up. So Harry's in the common room. Everyone's wishing him good luck. He can't even answer them. He just nods. He is in there alone close to midnight. Still no Ron and Hermione. And he thinks, it's over. I can't do it. Gonna have to take Ron's advice and just give up. But he imagines himself telling that to the judges. So, quote, he pictured Bagman's look of round-eyed surprise, Karkaroff's satisfied, yellow-toothed smile. Where you at, Meg?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. He could almost hear Fleur Delacour saying, I knew it. He is too young. He is only a little boy. And he saw Malfoy flashing his Potter Stinks badge at the front of the crowd. And then he sees Hagrid's crestfallen, disbelieving face. That's it.
Oh, Hagrid.
Oh.
That does it.
Aw.
He,
Oh, Hagrid.
oh, Hagrid. He gets up immediately. He goes and gets his invisibility cloak, and he heads back to the library. And he decides he's going to stay up all night if he has to. So, like, just think of this respect he has for Hagrid. Like, he can't disappoint him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Let's
So he's looking at everything. Hexes, charms, mer people, water monsters, or the undertow.
I have to say, I think that what he's doing now is probably the better approach than what they had been doing. Literally look at everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything that you think could be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of
just charms, instead of just, things to do with oxygen and breathing underwater, like literally look at everything and be like, how can I apply this to this task? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think they got tunnel vision
Too
almost.
zoned in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's 1 a.m, 2 a.m, and the only way he can keep himself going is just to keep thinking, it's in the next book, it's in the next book, it's in the next one.
Poor kid tried so hard.
I know. Like, he literally found
This
a task
would
he
be-
wasn't qualified for.
I
you
know. Like, this would have just, defeated me.
Oh, it would have been awful.
Yeah.
I literally would have gone to bed and been like, whatever. I'm going to fail tomorrow. I'm going to jump in and be like, oop, can't do it.
Yeah. Like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in the lake and swim around in laps and hope something comes to me.
Just be like, Akio, Missingo, Idamo.
Akio Ron.
Akio Wheezy.
Akio Wheezy. Oh, Dobby.
So he has a dream about that painting in the prefix bathroom with the mermaid, and she's laughing at him as he bobs like a cork in the water next to her rock. And she's holding his firebolt over his head, telling him to jump, come on and get it, and he's struggling not to sink. And she's poking him in the side with his broomstick, but it's actually Dobby poking him, trying to wake him up. So he wakes up suddenly, he's still in the library, his invisibility cloak had slipped off his head, so thank God Dobby found him and not someone like, oh my God, Harry Potter's decapitated! Here's another funny book title, Where There's a Wand, There's a Way.
Oh my
I like that.
I just picture Jo sitting at her desk like, what ridiculous wizarding book can I come up with next?
I feel like all the books in the wizarding world have super
Fun names.
fun
Yeah.
titles.
Yeah.
Like jokey titles or clever titles,
All of the books in the Harry Potter universe are kind of like Panic at the Disco songs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. That's so accurate.
So Dobby tells him that the task starts in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10
Oh,
minutes.
so I lied in my summary. I apologize.
Oh.
I said it was 15.
Ugh, Sarah.
Oh.
Sarah.
And Dobby's
Really
like, you gotta hurry. And Harry's like, no, dude, it's too late. I'm not doing it. I isn't knowing how.
Did he say that?
No.
No. I was like, he didn't say that.
It's too late.
And Dobby's like, no, you will do it because I know you just haven't found the right book. So I did it for you. But literally, I didn't think of this. You just think in your head, because Harry's been looking through books. No, literally, Harry hasn't found the book that Judy wanted him to find. Literally not the right book, because Dobby overheard this conversation.
Yeah, and he gave it to Neville.
Yes. The book that Judy gave to Neville, which we find out later, purposely gave it to him so that Harry might see it and think,
No, he thought in his mind. Do you remember? He thought in his mind that Harry would ask everybody in in his dorm for help, and that Neville would have the answer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that he would see it, just that he thought that he would ask Neville for help.
That just goes to show that you don't know HP.
I mean, I probably
true.
wouldn't have asked for help besides my 2 friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Neither would I have. Neither.
Okay, Yoda.
Whatever.
Me neither.
And Harry's like, wait,
I didn't mean to cut you off, though. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. Thank you for correcting me, because I think that's kind of almost a movieism coming in, too, and then,
Yeah.
I don't know. And Harry's like, wait, what? You don't know what the second task is? But Dobby's like, yeah, I do. You have to go into the lake, you have to find your Wheezy, and you have to take him back from the mer people. And Harry's like, what's a Wheezy? You mean like the rapper?
Oh.
Do not talk of him in front of
Bless
me.
you.
Why?
Because that's Kanye West. I am not a fan.
No,
No,
Wheezy's
he's
different.
Yeezy.
Oh.
I don't know.
Never mind. Just keep going.
Dobby's like, no, you're
Wheezy.
Wheezy. And he's pulling at his sweater, which is Ron's sweater.
I'm
What
Wheezy.
is the matter
I'm
with
Wheezy.
Sorry, Katie. I apologize for her behavior.
Don't you apologize for me.
There's also Wheezy from Toy Story. Little
True,
penguin.
I like him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Penguin.
And Harry's like, oh my god, they have Ron. And Dobby, here he goes, saves the day. He's like, you just have to use this. And he hands him a ball of what looks like slimy, grayish-green rat tails.
Chug it.
Oh, gosh.
Chug, 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 chug.
And that would be Gillyweed. So Gillyweed does have a little Potter profile. So magical properties, gives a human fish-like properties. Purpose, to help a wizard breathe underwater. Where it's most likely to be found is the Mediterranean Sea. Hold on, I got stuff popping up on my computer. I can't see what I'm doing.
Have y'all ever had a seaweed salad?
No.
This is what it makes me think of, and it's so
Hold on.
good.
I've eaten seaweed, haven't I? I mean, I've had it like with sushi and stuff, but didn't we have seaweed like? Nope.
I don't know. I just, like, my cousin, when we get sushi, they have, like, it's usually very inexpensive, and it's, like, just cut up seaweed with, like, some type of, like, dressing on it, and poppy seeds. Sesame seeds. It is so good. I was like, can I try that one time? And it was delicious.
Gross.
One time I
That was
got
so good.
from work, sometimes we get free samples, and we got like a seaweed snack, and I was like, well, it's free, so I'll try it. But when I took it home and I opened it, the cats were like ravenous and
Oh
like
my
came
God, they
flying
wanted
forward to it. And I was like, I don't need to try this if they're that excited about this. Never mind. Okay, so the effects of Gillyweed were first discovered by Elladora, that's a pretty name, Ketteridge. However, it was actually an herbologist, Beaumont Marjoribanks, who was given the official credit of the discovery a century later. So poor Elladora got pushed to the side.
The heck, man.
When it's eaten, it gives a person gills to breathe underwater, and you also get webbed hands and feet for swimming. It also causes other fish-like qualities, such as you don't need to blink as often, and you don't really like care about how cool the water is. It kind of like your temperature adjusts. And the duration of the effect is approximately 1 hour. Approximately.
That, but like, how much do you have to eat to have it be an hour?
Yeah, like, what if you had like a slightly smaller wad of rat tails or whatever? And you only get 45 minutes, but you still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Because
scary.
I feel like if I was Harry, I would want to do like longer than an hour.
Well,
You know what I mean?
his is longer than an hour, because if you think about it, he misses the time, and they say by a lot.
Yeah, but
Like,
he,
Cedric...
is it a movieism that he struggled? I can't remember. Sorry.
No, he does, but, like,
He does.
towards the end. So it's more than an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Cedric
True.
got
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
and he was a minute late.
So like, I wonder, like, per piece, what is the time allotment? You know what I mean?
It was a car
It's a
outside.
motorcycle, I think. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Tell them not to drive.
So I looked up a little bit. I like that it came from the Mediterranean Sea, so I looked up aquatic plants in the Mediterranean.
Nice.
It's a good Sarah thing to do.
Right? There's about 25,000 species of plants that live
Wow.
in and around the Mediterranean Sea, so I could see some magical plants being in there.
Yeah.
Half of those are found nowhere else on Earth, so again, here's some rare
So we're
plants.
thinking like 12,000 plants are only
Only
found
found.
in the Mediterranean Sea.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Isn't it like there's like a certain thing about the Mediterranean Sea, like it's saltier than normal, or there's something different about it.
That would make sense if
I
there's
find-
if there's that many plants that you can only
Yeah.
find there. There's like a special
Did it say?
biosphere for them.
It said something about biosphere, didn't it? Oh, biome. The 15% of these are at risk of becoming extinct right now.
Wow.
Along the threatened native plants, the Mediterranean also has introduced aquatic flora. Pollution, degradation of the sea biome, and invasive species all play a part in affecting the plants.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah.
It just gives a couple examples. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like there was something. It could also be the fact that that sea is almost landlocked. It comes out a little bit on the west
Yeah.
side by like between Africa and Portugal, Spain, I think. It dumps into the Atlantic, but like it's pretty much landlocked everywhere else, so like the flow isn't as much as like the ocean.
So it can be more concentrated with like whatever's growing there.
And because it's landlocked in like lower south, I feel like it's a little bit of a warmer sea. Because it's like closer to the equator. Yeah. So I don't know, changes some stuff about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
To tie in with that, still like talking about the Mediterranean, the properties of gillyweed, along with it being special to the Mediterranean, might allude to a Greek myth of a mortal who ate an herb and it made him aquatic for the rest of his life, and he went on to become a minor sea god. So that in Greek mythology, his name is Glaucus. I might be saying that wrong, but that
seems right. I think
that comes from the ancient Greek word glaucus, which means grayish blue or bluish green, kind of like the gillyweed itself. So he was a Greek prophetic sea god who was born mortal, and then he turned immortal because he ate a magical herb. And it was believed that he commonly came to the rescue of sailors and fishermen in storms, having earlier earned a living from the sea himself.
Are you gonna say what I was gonna say?
Are you gonna say that he's like a male version of the Little Mermaid?
No.
He is.
Aquaman.
Oh, Aquaman.
But is he a minor sea god?
Isn't he?
I don't know if he's a minor one. I don't know. I never watched the movie or know anything about Aquaman. So.
I just know Jason Momoa is very attractive.
I was thinking it was cool because, like, so this Greek god comes to the rescue of sailors and stuff, and gillyweed came to the rescue of Harry Potter.
Oh, I like that.
Wow, very cool.
That's a very Hufflepuff thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
I thought it was a Ravenclaw thing to say.
No, we don't appreciate that. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking.
So Harry is excited because he may have found a solution, but also hesitant because the last time Dobby helped him, he ended up with no bones in his arm.
Well, to be fair, it's not Dobby's fault he wound up with no bones in his arm.
Okay, but Dobby could have not had a bludger try and kill Harry Potter.
I mean, I
not
agree,
kill,
but
seriously
I would
maim or
say-
injure.
Only to
Gilderoy
maim.
Lockhart.
I would say it's Dobby's fault that he broke his arm.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The
the rest
part,
of it,
that's not him.
that's all Lockhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. No. You just
He
can't
doesn't
do
remember
magic.
it, but it's all his fault.
Right.
Harry doesn't even say thank you. He just, tears out of the
Harry.
library with Dobby at his heels, and he races down to the lake.
He's got 10 minutes, Katie. He can't have extra words being said.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
As
He's
you're
going to
running.
buy Dobby all the socks ever made.
All
True.
the socks.
All of
He's
them.
going to buy the coolest pair of socks with snitches and brooms on them.
I need those.
That's what
when he
Dobby
buys
got
them.
him.
No, that's what
I
he
know.
Oh,
he
yeah.
buys those.
You're right.
He buys Dobby those.
He's going to put little love notes in each sock.
Oh my. I don't
He's
know
gonna
about
stitch.
that.
He's gonna stitch a little love note inside the top.
Is he? That's a little far for Harry.
He'd ask Mrs. Weasley.
But Woody?
He'll have Hermione do it. Is it my turn?
I'm
yes,
ready.
ma'am.
I'm going to blow your minds with my section. Blew your minds.
I'm excited.
So they're down at the lake. He's running down there, and we notice that, he notices that the seats from the first task that they were on, like the risers, are now by the lake so that people can watch the lake and really see nothing for the duration of the task because they're underwater. Yeah, I
Do you remember that part in Puffs? When they're talking about this is so funny. It's just like, oh yeah, look, they're gonna start the task. And nothing. Because you can't see anything happen.
Yes. And silent.
Yeah. And we notice that Percy is again in Crouch's place. So they give Harry a minute to catch his breath. Because, I think Percy was like, okay, it's almost time to start. And you need to be now. We're going. And they're like, all right, let him just, catch his breath. Come on. Whatevs. And so, basically on the count of 3, they dive into the water. And they have 1 hour to get back what was lost. So I'm guessing at this point, Harry's the only one that knows that it's, they're his friend, you know?
Yeah.
Also, this is a good chapter to do the day after Best Friends Day, National Best Friends Day, because that's his best friend. Not saying that those are the other people's best friends, but
I like
we talk about Harry on this podcast, not those other fools.
What is...
I've had a lot of coffee already. So Harry shoves that gillyweed into his mouth, and he wades into the water to, like, chew it. Also, what I find very odd, but, like, in the movie, is that, like, he's walking in there with his robes and everything. Like, you know you're going, like, all of them have them on. You know what I mean? Like, why don't you... I don't know.
I actually really like...
That's a lot of clothing to, like, water down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like their outfits in the movies, to be honest. I like that movieism, how they have, like, their little bathing suit outfits.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I will say, Crumb did have swimming trunks. He was ready.
Yeah.
He did.
Because he's been swimming in that lake for weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not dumb.
He's prepped.
He's prepped and ready.
Crumb ain't dumb.
Crumb.
So obviously it's February and it's a lake and it's cold because they're also in Scotland where it's cold in February.
Hey, is it cold?
So have I told you it's cold?
It's cold.
It's ice cold. What's colder than being cold? Ice
cold.
So he starts chewing the gillyweed, and then from the book it says it felt unpleasantly slimy and rubbery like octopus tentacles.
What?
And then I was thinking about this because I haven't eaten octopus tentacles, but I've eaten squid tentacles.
I think I've eaten
Delish.
octopus tentacles.
I don't know if I have, if
I
I'm being
have.
honest.
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like if you have, I definitely have.
It was smoked.
No.
No. No.
Well, you also, like, you're a
would-
texture person.
You would probably like it, but I did not particularly enjoy it.
All of that
So then
sounds
quite
disgusting.
suddenly... Oh, it's so good. Then quite suddenly, Harry felt as though an invisible pillow had been pressed over his mouth and nose. This is terrifying to me.
Agreed.
I don't know why I just saluted. It's terrifying. I lost my place. So he tries to draw a breath. And, you know, he doesn't have any paper or pens or anything to draw a picture, so I don't know how he would draw a breath. And it made his head spin. So, like, I just can't imagine, like, how that would be, like, feeling. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Probably
it
makes
makes
me
me feel
sick.
sick.
Dizzy.
It makes me, like, anxious just thinking about, like, because I've been in a situation more than once where I'm almost drowning, so, like, thinking not being able to breathe, it's scary. So his lungs were empty, and he suddenly felt a piercing pain on either side of his neck. Ouch. So then he, like, touches his neck, and he realizes he's growing gills. That's crazy. And he flings himself into the water, and then, like, that first gulp of water was, like, a breath of fresh air.
Nice.
Which also, like, I wonder if he had to get used to that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Water.
Oh, yeah. So he looks, and his hands are green and ghostly under the water. And then his hands and feet are webbed. And the water no longer felt cold, which
That's
is
cool.
good.
That's
It
cool.
was pleasantly cool and very light.
I like that. It changes you that way,
Yeah.
too.
I don't know why it says very lightly. I don't know.
I think he
Maybe
felt
the water
light.
felt lighter.
He felt
Yeah.
light.
He felt lighter.
Yeah.
But, like, you still have all those robes on you. I don't know. I just don't get it.
Okay.
It's my opinion. Why are you swimming in some robes?
It's in the script.
It's not a script, it's a book.
Whatever.
So it was really dark under there, and he could only see 10 feet in front of him. I wonder, like, how his glasses felt on his face.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really talk about that at all.
I don't know.
So little fish swam past him like little silver darts, and he didn't see any of the champions or mer people or the giant squid, thank the Lord. So Harry was swimming, and all he could see were light green weeds for miles and miles, and then suddenly something grabbed his ankle, and he turned and saw a Grindylow, which we know is a small, horned water demon poking out of the weed. Its long fingers clutched tightly around Harry's legs, and its fangs were bared.
The Grindylow.
Okay. On Pottermore, they don't have... The only thing they have on Grindylows are behind the scenes. So I'm going to read a little bit about that from the movie. And it says, it's a vast array of designs for the water-dwelling Grindylows were considered and discarded before arriving at something resembling a cross between a nasty child and an octopus.
Ew, but for real.
It kind of looks like Stitch.
It does look like
does.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it says this is extracted from the Harry Potter The Creature Vault by Jodie Revinson. And in the Harry Potter
Sorry. She's
My throat.
not gonna make it.
No, we're not gonna make it. In the Harry Potter films, Grindylows are unfriendly little creatures with short octopus-like arms and bulbous tentacle heads that live in the Black Lake. Harry Potter narrowly escapes their grasp in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which we're reading during the second test, which we're reading Triwizard Tournament. Fun facts. We know these things. Since when given the task of bringing the Grindylows to life on screen in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the visual department of development artists came up with many different versions of what this underwater creature could be. Grindylows were designed with small heads, 2 legs, 2 webbed feet, 8 webbed hands, huge glowing eyes, or large pointed ears. Several were luminescent, similar to fish that live in the darkest corners of the deep sea. Some bodies were shaped to resemble frogs, others were seal-like, and several had their own. Several had their own versions of mermaid's tail.
Interesting.
Yeah. With this many ideas in the mix, a design was chosen based on what Grindylows needed to do physically, which I like.
Yeah.
That's what the creature shop produced a design they described as a cross between a nasty child and an octopus, complete with a significantly large grinning mouth filled with sharp teeth. As was done with so many of the other creatures in Harry Potter film series, full-size silicone Marquettes?
Marquettes, yeah.
But there's no R.
Yeah, there is no R.
Maquettes.
Were created and painted, then cast again as fiberglass models to be cyber scanned for the CGI artists to animate. Additionally, new software was developed by the visual effects team to handle the large number of Grindylows in a simplified way. So that's cool.
I think that I might have... Oh boy, Teddy. Okay, sorry. I think I may have a picture of the Grindylow maquette from the studio tour in London, and if I do, I'll post it on our page when this episode comes out. I think I do.
I think we do too.
I think we do. So I'm going to read a little bit from the chapter. It says, by the time he had grasped it, 2 more Grindylows had risen out of the weed, had seized handfuls of Harry's robes. If you weren't wearing them, Harry, they wouldn't be able to grab them. And were attempting to drag him down. Relatio, I think is how you say that. Harry.
I think it's Relatio.
It's relash, not releash. There would be another E.
I like leashes.
Why don't you guys relaxio, okay?
We'll get a relaxy taxi.
Relaxy cab.
Relax cab. So Harry shouted, except with no sound came out. This is important to know. He can't talk. A large bubble issued from his mouth, and his wand, instead of sending sparks at the Grindylows, pelted them with what seemed to be a jet of boiling water. For where it struck them, angry red patches appeared on their green skin.
Woof.
Those are 2 dings, Katie. Green and red.
It's like Christmas over here.
Harry pulled his ankle out of the Grindylows' grip and swam as fast as he could, occasionally sending more jets of hot water over his shoulder at random. Every now and then he felt one of the Grindylows snatch at his foot again, and he kicked out hard. Finally, he felt his foot connect with a horned skull and looked back at the dazed Grindylows floating away cross-eyed, while its fellows shook their fists at Harry and sank back into the weeds.
Winning!
For sure. So he finally gets past the Grindylows. Woohoo! And then Myrtle meets Harry and was like, what up, bro? How you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm swimming, Just keep swimming like Dory says. And she helps him kind of like in the right direction. She's like, this is where you need to go. So he swims in the direction that she told him for a while, and then he hears some singing. And it's an hour long. You'll have to look.
Sing it.
I'm not singing it. And to recover.
An hour long you have to look to recover what we took. Your times have gone, so tarry not. Lest you cease here to rot.
I mean, but like it is kind of scary if you think about it.
No,
if it was taken literally, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it did. I mean,
does.
why would you not? I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's amusing to me that other people think that, this everything's gonna be fine. But like, if you think about it, like Harry's thinking about it. People have died in the tournament. He's taking it seriously. All these clues are saying that, if you don't get these people, they're not coming back. And if you don't instill that, give me a word, fear or...
you're not going to take it, you're not going to try as hard, maybe.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know.
They're showing us a picture of the Grindylow they saw at the thing.
Ooh, that is creepy.
I have a mer person too.
Well, and at this point, like, Harry knows what they took. So, like, had Dobby not kind of been like, it's your Winky, he would not have a clue.
Wheezy.
So, like, Winky, Wheezy. So, like, he knows it's his friend, so obviously he doesn't want Ron to die. And he, the other ones, if they don't know what they took, you know, because, like, was Cho with Cedric, like, you know what I mean? Like, the night before,
right.
like,
Yeah.
ooh, cramp. Oh. Sorry.
Wheezing. They took her Wheezy.
So he starts trying to swim faster because he's hearing the song being like, oh gosh, like, I need to get to Ron, like, I need to save him because, you know, Harry's the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, as he's going, he sees rocks that had paintings of mer people with spears on them, and the pictures are depicting them chasing what looks like a giant squid. So, like, Harry's like, oh, shoot the shooters, like...
Shoot the shooters.
Like, you know, these mer people ain't nice.
They're not playing.
They ain't playing. They got spears. Important. What is it? What's it saying? Grab your knives and pitchforks or something from Shrek.
Oh,
Torches
yeah.
and pitchforks.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. So Harry then sees the faces, but they bore no resemblance at all to the painting of the mermaids in the prefix bathroom, which I find interesting.
It's funny because, like, if you think, like, art and everything, like, sometimes we'll romanticize things, right? So, yeah, like, I always like picturing the stained glass, honestly, from the movie. I think that's really pretty over a painting in the bathroom, but
yeah,
that mermaid looks beautiful. And then he goes into the lake, and it's, like, these things with fangs, basically, and they just look, like, terrifying.
I wonder if it's because he's an intruder.
Oh, probably. Yeah, for sure.
But I think they always look like that.
Then why was the painting so crazy?
I think they're trying to beautify it. You know what I mean? Like, think about, like, they know the myths that, like, muggles have of mermaids and how, like, they're sirens and they're beautiful and they're trying to entice.
Yeah, but wizards know.
I know, but maybe they're just saying, like, we want to look at this and not, like, a picture of an actual.
You don't want to look at that?
No.
I'm looking at the
kind of looks like Medusa a little bit.
Think about, like, things that, you know, even just muggles like us have taken and, like,
I ain't no muggle.
Like, beautified in art and everything, you know what I mean? So, like, why wouldn't wizards do that too, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel that.
So there's a page.
This is horrible.
It's creepy, isn't it?
It's not great. It's not great. There's a Pottermore, like, section, explore the story of mer people. And I like this first thing. It says, underwater beasts who have a rocky relationship with the wizarding world. And I think that's a little punful. So some fun facts. Their appearance is half fish, half human. Gray skin, dark green hair, yellowish eyes, and teeth. Dangers. Their warlike tendencies can drag people to their deaths underwater. And their typical habitats are there's an underwater colony at the Great Lake, in the Great Lake at Hogwarts. But I'm sure they're, like, also other places, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
They have some illustrations on Pottermore as well, which we can do. They have, like, fairy is what it's going to say. Harry faces the underwater colony, so that's a picture of, like, Harry literally in robes. He kind of looks like a Dementor a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I see him. The one mermaid kind of looks like Aquaman.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I doubt Aquaman is in the Great Lake.
You don't know where Aquaman goes.
Is it called the Great Lake?
The Black
Lake.
The Black Lake.
We are on a Great Lake currently.
Wow, we're adjacent to a Great Lake right now.
I'm gonna hurt you physically.
So I'm going to read again from the chapter. I just had to find where I did it. Okay. So I said, Harry sped on, staring around, and soon the dwellings became more numerous. There were gardens of weed around some of them. He even saw a pet Grindylow tied to a stake outside one door. Mer people were emerging on all sides now, watching him eagerly, pointing at his webbed hands and gills, talking behind their hands to one another. Harry sped around a corner, and a very strange sight met his eyes. And it's a whole crowd of mer people were floating in front of the houses that lined what looked like a mer version of a village square. A choir of mer people were singing in the middle, calling the champions towards them. Behind them rose a crude sort of statue, a giant mer person hewn from a boulder. 4 people were bound tightly to the tail of the stone mer person. And I just think this reminds me of SpongeBob, because Bikini Bottom is like a whole little village, and all the fish are living there, and they got little.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Guys, this is just a SpongeBob podcast now, and not a Harry Potter one.
Right. I don't know. I just
Want to talk into the mic?
They're like, oh sorry, they're like little sirens luring him.
Mm-hmm. Very true. So Harry sees the 4 people tied up to the tail. So he sees Ron, Hermione, and Cho, and then a young girl. They're all tied up. The rope were weeds that were thick, slimy, and very strong. And then Harry makes the connection. He's like, that young girl must be Fleur's sister because she has the same silvery hair and probably looks similar to Fleur. But they all seem to be in a deep sleep, like to the point where you even see like air bubbles coming out of them. So then, like, Harry goes to ask our merman for his spear to use to cut the rope, and they're like, no, we don't help you. We just watch. Spectator sport. And, like, Harry, like, wasn't pleased at all, so he tries to yank it from him, but it didn't work. Like,
dude, that's brave.
Yeah. Well, he's a Gryffindor.
Amen.
So then he, like, kind of looks around. He sees some rocks, and he goes and tries to get, like, a sharp one so he can cut through the rope. So Harry cuts Ron free, and then he kind of looks around for the other champions, but he sees no sign of them. So then he goes to cut Hermione free as well. And then a bunch of hands are on him, pulling him away, and they're like, no, you take yours and leave the other ones. So I wonder if he had tried to go for Hermione first, what would have happened? Do you think they would have been like, that's not yours, hostage?
I think he probably only went for Ron first because they were like, they took your Wheezy.
I know, but I'm just thinking, like, what would they have done if he went to cut Hermione first?
I bet you they don't know.
Oh!
I bet they don't know whose is whose. They just know to only let the champions take one.
Yeah.
What if he took Cho?
Yeah, because he's got, like, 3 connections underwater.
And then Cedric's like, I gotta take Ron? What's going on?
How would you feel if, like, you were Ron and you find out that your best friend took the girl he liked first? That's not nice.
Well,
I mean, I would cut my friend out first if I'm, like, if me and this girl are not anything to each other, you know what I mean? Like, you just like her. That's pretty messed up. In my opinion. I don't know. That's like when your friend starts dating someone and they, like, stop talking to you.
We talked about that before on this podcast.
Yeah. Apparently it's not happened to you. I must have great friends.
Ooh, just saying.
And so he goes, she's my friend too. And I don't want them to die either. But I like in the movie how they're like, just one. Only one.
Sarah, I wish I could have seen your face just now. It's awesome. It's so good.
And then I like that Harry tries to see how much time he has left, because none of the other champions are around. Like, I wonder, like, it just seems like his was very straightforward. He went in the water, and then he went, like, and he found them. So, like, where are the other champions? Are they, like, swimming around in a circle? Like,
does the bubblehead charm take away your hearing? Like, does it muffle it?
Oh, I bet you.
Oh.
And then Crumb has a shark head. I wonder how well he can hear.
I just assumed the bubblehead charm was, like, just around your nose and your mouth. But I guess I could be wrong.
I would think I don't know.
Yes,
no,
Katie.
Ahead, Katie. Did you lose it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I forgot. I remember. Okay. I forgot. Harry did have Myrtle show up and go that way.
Oh,
so
right.
he had a little bit of a hand. So.
Well, I was gonna say too, like, even if the bubblehead charm didn't cover, like, you know, muffle their hearing, I think the fact that all they did was the bubblehead charm and nothing else about their body changed does kind of put them at a disadvantage to Harry, because Harry's senses and everything are changed for water right now.
True.
So he honestly gave himself, Dobby gave him the best chance possible.
Thanks, Dobbs.
I love that.
Why are you screaming?
Because I'm excited. God.
I'm so excited.
Only one.
So I like that he, like, goes to look at his watch, and his watch is like, bro, you're real deep underwater. I'm not working for you.
Oh
I ain't no Apple Watch.
Why didn't their town square have
Probably not.
Okay.
Because, like, in
Tiffany.
the way that I think about this,
Okay.
they're, like, right in the middle of, like, the lake. Like, they're at the deepest point of the lake. So, first of all, you're in the coldest part, the darkest part, and they're underwater. They don't care what time it is. They do their own life. You know what I mean?
Living on.
They probably, like, go with
underwater
the tide maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm just saying words.
It's tide o'clock. Time to have some lunch.
So, finally, Harry sees Cedric, and then he tells him, Cedric is like, you need to get out. Like, basically, like, why are you still here? Your dude is free.
Your dude's
Go.
free.
Fleur and Crumb are coming now. So then Fleur cuts Cho free, and off they go. But Harry's like, I don't know.
Did you say Fleur cuts Cho free?
Cedric cuts Cho free. I almost said Cedric cuts Fleur free. Cedric cuts Cho free, and they zoom.
He didn't care about everybody else. How
Correct.
is that?
Not very kind, Hufflepuff.
Ooh.
I want to speak for myself.
So, Harry finally sees a half shark, half man, aka Crumb, who, like, tries to snap his jaw, like, on the bead
gosh.
to, like,
What if
get...
he, like, bit her head off?
Well, and that's kind of like... He's like, if he's not careful, he's gonna bite Hermione in half.
Oh.
So then he, like, kind of helps him out, and he's like, dude, here's a stone. So he finally gets Hermione free, and then they leave. And so then Harry's, like, kind of still standing there being like, Fleur's not around here, and they said that, like, she was coming, and, like, she's not here. Like, I don't know what to do, and he doesn't want anything to happen to her sister. And so he, like, goes to free her, but the mer people, like, super aren't pleased. But he whips out his wand, and he gives them to the count of 3. So he whips out his wand, and they, like, almost, like, take, like, a step back because they know what that means. And they're a little bit afraid of it, but he's like, I'll give you to the count of 3. And they scatter, and so he is able to free the girl, and he scoops up Ron, and off they go to the surface.
Wouldn't it have been funny if he would have, like, cut Ron free and, like, pushed him up? So he, like, flipped to the surface.
But, like, do you ever think about that? Did your mom ever do that to you? Like, I'm going to give you to the count of 3.
Yeah.
Like, so my mom always talks about how when, this might have been before my time, that my brother Marty would, like, she was like, I'm going to give you to the count of 3. And one day he was like, and then one. She goes, and I didn't know what.
Oh, Martin. Sassy boy.
God.
So he cuts, we don't know her name yet, but it's Gabrielle. So he cuts her free. And so he, like, then goes up to the surface with the 2 extra people, and he starts to turn back just into a regular human with no gills or fins. And so he finally breaks free to, like, to the surface, but, like, the mer people are also up there with him. And they're, like, smiling at him, and they're like, you made it through.
Hooray!
Woo-hoo!
Oh, they're nice.
So he sees the stands of people are cheering, and so Ron and the girl, like, finally kind of open their eyes, and Ron's like, why did you bring her? Like, what, Harry? You always got to be the hero. And he's like, Harry didn't want to leave her because Fleur hadn't come, and then Ron points out, do you really think Dumbledore would have left them in the water if the champion hadn't come? It was just for the time limit. And
Sorry,
then
we lost
Harry
some
didn't
students
waste
today.
trying- Yeah. Hopefully he goes to Harry, you didn't waste time being a hero or trying to be one. And I was like,
Whoa, Ron,
he did.
slow down, because, like, are you only saying this because Harry's gonna get more attention for being a hero?
No,
than
I
not?
think he was like, Harry, like, if you had thought a little bit, like, you could have just won. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to be the hero. Like, they weren't going to leave them
Yeah,
down
but
there.
he's a caring individual.
I know, but, like,
Don't care. I'm with Harry.
I mean, Ron.
I stand with Harry.
But so I said, you know, like, moral fiber and all counts for stuff. And then
What?
Harry literally, yeah, because moral fiber.
Yeah.
Stuff. But Harry felt both stupid and annoyed.
No, it just means he has a good heart.
You got a
I'm
big
not
heart,
saying
Harry.
he doesn't, but, like,
No, I'm not saying you said that he doesn't. I'm telling Harry. No, you have a good heart. Don't feel stupid.
yeah, well, he'll, in about, 3 more pages, he's like, all right, cool. So, Rary,
Yep.
Ron and Harry, help the Delacour girl back towards the judges, with about 20 more people around them, like an honor guard, singing their song that we all know sounds real screechy. So everyone so far that, like, had come out of the lake is now sitting on the shore in blankets. And then it's interesting to me because Percy comes running out to meet them. And it says in the book he looked very white and somehow much younger than usual. And then Fleur was also fighting Madame Maxime to get into the water to make sure her sister's okay.
I bet Percy was just, super anxious about Ron.
Correct.
But it's interesting to see that because you don't really see him,
Ever
care about his brothers, but this shows he really does.
Well, and it kind of is so far we've really seen him being work.
Yeah.
And you need to be
family.
Well, you need to be very much by the book. We know he's very much this is how you do, appearances matter. And the next time you see him like this is when he's holding Fred.
Oh.
Yeah. So Percy drags Ron back to the shore. He grabs him. Dumbledore and Bagman help Harry kind of get up, and then Fleur finally was able to break free from Madame Maxime to get to her sister. And then Fleur's I couldn't get past the Grindylows. That's what we found out what happened to her. So Pomfrey makes Harry sit by Hermione, tightly wrapped in a blanket, and then
a Hermarito.
Yeah. And then she gives him a very hot potion. Steam gushes out of his ears, and then I said it's probably a pepper-up potion.
Oh, yeah.
And then you find out, a little bit, a couple paragraphs down that it is, because she also gives Ron a pepper-up potion. And it reminds me of when Jenny was sick, and it made her look like she was, on fire.
Yeah.
So Hermione congratulates him on doing it all by himself, and he kind of sees that Karkaroff is watching him, so he doesn't deny it. And he's like, yeah, I did. All by myself. Take that, Karkaroff. You dark wizard man.
Oh, hey, Florence.
So then Crumb points out that Hermione has a water beetle in her hair, and she brushes it away, and I said, too bad she didn't smash that thing in her fingers, because read out gross.
That would have been murder.
But I like that Harry kind of is he's trying to Crumb's trying to get her attention back on him. And she's like, no.
Nah, bro.
My friend's here, And then Harry tells her that he didn't really have any trouble finding them, but now he's feeling a little bit dumb because he realizes Dumbledore would have never let anything happen to the students in the water in the first place. And he should have just taken Ron and left, and he would have won because he was there in enough time to get Ron and get out and be on time. And then from the book it says Dumbledore was crouching at the water's edge, deep in conversation with what seemed to be the chief mer person, a particularly wild and ferocious looking female. And I'm thinking,
Yes.
Go girl. He was making some of the same sort of screeching noises that the mer people made when they were above water. Clearly Dumbledore could speak Mermish. Finally, he straightened up, turned to his fellow judges, and said, "A conference before we give the marks, I think." The judges huddled together. Pomfrey finally was able to get Ron free from Percy so she can get him warmed up. She gets him a blanket, gets him a little pepper-up potion. And then Fleur, finally, now that she knows that her sister's okay, she would refuse to have Pomfrey look at her. But Harry sees that she has cuts on her face, arms, and her robes are torn. Why are you wearing robes in the water?
The third thing we can't explain.
So she seemed in awe of Harry because he saved Gabrielle, even though she wasn't his hostage, and I don't like that they keep calling them hostages. So Harry was regretting that he did it. He's like, "Yeah, you're welcome. I shouldn't have done it." But Fleur bent and kissed Harry twice on each cheek, and it even says he turned red. He's like, "Oh, kiss him on my cheek." And then she even turns to Ron and kisses him too because he helped a bit as well. I like this in the movie when she was like, he's like, "Yeah, a bit." And then I like that it says Hermione looked furious. But then Ludo decided right then that he was going to make a big old announcement. So nothing could really be done about Hermione being jelly rolling because Fleur kissed Harry and Ron. More so Ron than Harry. So we find out that the Merchief's name is Mercus. And I'm guessing that's just her last name, but who knows. And she told them what happened in the water. And so they decided to award points out of 50. And so then they kind of were telling everybody what they used and who they be. point system.
Go be do.
Go be do. So in last place is Fleur, who used the bubblehead charm, and she earned 25 points because we know that she didn't finish the. And then Cedric is announced next. He also used the bubblehead charm, and he earned 47 points because he was a minute out of the time limit. And then at this point, Harry's like, oh my gosh, he was a minute. Like, I'm going to be crazy late.
Yeah.
And so I just want to talk about the bubblehead charm a little bit. And this is from the wiki, I believe. And it says the bubblehead charm is a charm that produces a bubble around the head of the caster, even though, like, the picture that it uses, it's just around their mouth and nose. It says it's giving them a continuous supply of oxygen. Now, I wonder if it's just pure oxygen. I don't know how, like, oxygen thing. Is it pure oxygen? Because we don't breathe. Like, right now, I'm not breathing in pure oxygen.
Right. I don't know.
That's just my initial thought. Sorry. And so it's allowing them to breathe where they could not otherwise. It's the most effective charm for breathing underwater or in any environment where fresh air is at a premium, allowing a supply of oxygen. We will what's the word I'm looking for? Post this too. Mm-hmm. So it says that we know it. Wow, I cannot talk. Causes a protective bubble to form around the caster's head. And it says described to look like an upside down fish bowls. This bubble may allow for underwater exploration or to avoid nasty smells. I like that.
Yeah, I would wear that around you constantly.
Yeah. And it says, although wizards with bad breath have reported problems after the first 30 minutes. That's interesting. And so we even see, like, in the films, the charm creates a bubble around the mouth nose, similar to an oxygen mask, not the entire head. It's unclear why Harry Potter was unable to find information on this charm while researching for the second task. It is possible that the spell was relatively new invention, not covered in many books as of 1995, or that the spell was not commonly used for breathing underwater, but for other purposes. It is also said that Harry searched for a spell that would allow human to survive without oxygen, which we discussed, rather than for some form of an oxygen supply. So I like that. So next, Victor was the next one who had used an incomplete form of transfiguration. He was second to return with his hostage, earning himself 40 points. And then last they get to Harry, and we know he used gillyweed. And he's already thinking, like, I'm toast, because he arrived well out of the time span, all of that stuff. And he would have been first to return, and they say, like, we learned from these Mer people, the Mer chief, he was the first one to arrive there, the first one to get to the people. He wanted to make sure they were all safe before he, went free with Ron. He was determined to make He was determined to make sure all the hostages would be returned safely. Not just his own. And so most of the judges, a.k.a. Karkaroff is not one of them, said that they're like, we wanted to award him full marks.
No.
And so they said, like, he'll earn 45 because of his show of moral fiber. I said, I'm like, well, I do feel like he shouldn't have earned full marks because you didn't do it. Yeah. So regardless of all the stuff that you arrived first, you didn't leave first.
The Potter effect failed.
Yeah. So I'm happy that he didn't get full marks.
Yeah. It would not. That would have completely been unfair.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't think he should have gotten full, but he definitely what they considered to give him more points. I think it's right what they did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm a lone wolf over here. I think he should have gotten full points.
You think he should have gotten full?
I think so, just because, like, he clearly knew what the task was, but he took it literally, and, I mean, I don't think that it's odd that part of me thinks it is odd that he took it literally, because, like, it's Dumbledore and it's Hogwarts, and, like, would he really let somebody die because somebody didn't complete the task? But at the same time, like, he's thinking about how dangerous these tasks are supposed to be. Like, think about the fact he just had to fight a dragon that was breathing fire at him and could have killed him in an instant, honestly. So, like, why not think that this is true and that these people would, especially Hermione. Like, I can definitely understand him sticking around until Krum shows up to get Hermione. I don't so much care about the fact that he stayed for Gabrielle, but like at the same time I understand why he did. And I think that the mer people were really impressed with him, and that they must have really like relayed that to Dumbledore. Not that Dumbledore wouldn't have been impressed with him, but I think that like the fact that whenever Harry got up there and they were behind him and they were smiling, they were proud that he completed the task. I think that they were also really proud of the fact that he took it literally and he wanted to make sure that everybody returned to safety. And I think that, that is a huge show of moral fiber. And I think that, if anything, that should be the most important thing in these tasks. That, yeah, he's good at, completing the task, but look at like, there's more to this than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like, if say you're literally taking a test and maybe you were able to like help your friend out. Like, say you're taking, I know you can't, if you're doing like a standardized test, like help your friend out, but like think about it that way where you're helping your friend and you have a time limit and you're helping them so much that you don't get to answer all of your questions. You don't get to go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking like task wise, you have an hour and nobody should earn full marks because nobody made it out in that time limit, regardless if he was able to waiting to make sure everyone was okay. I think he did a great job, and I'm glad that he got 45 points. I mean, and he still is tied for first place with Cedric, but like, I just think that nobody should deserve. Nobody came out in the time limit that was done. You know what I mean? Every single person either didn't finish or they took too long.
Yeah.
So no one should get full marks.
Okay.
That's just how I think about it.
The only reason the only thing I could add to that to be like, this is why I think that he should have, is that like it was pretty clear that he would have made it out in time. And I think that the mer people probably reiterated that to Dumbledore. Like, he would have done it in an hour if he didn't show moral fiber to wait and make sure everybody was safe.
I kind of feel like if he would have done it, he might have been under an hour.
I agree.
Oh, no, yeah,
for
like,
sure.
He would be.
Because he got to them so fast.
And he waited for Cedric, and Cedric was only like a minute.
Yeah, he was only a
Yeah.
minute ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Harry would have done it in like 45 minutes.
I think so too, yeah. 45.
I'm going to say 46.
I'm going to say 1 minute. He just Akio'd right out of there. So basically, like I said, and I also think too that had he, I think if, and I don't know if this is actually true, but I think if he had just used like a bubblehead charm, he probably, like, I think the ingenious use of gillyweed also helped him in his point standing. I think, in my opinion.
Agree.
So as I said, the points as standing meant that Harry and Cedric were tied for first place.
Woohoo.
And then they are told that the next and final task is set to take place on the 24th of June at dusk. And I said, the internet, well, not the internet, my phone tells me that that's a Saturday. So, fun fact.
Well done.
And so, like, Harry's very, very relieved that he didn't have to worry about anything until June 24th because he also doesn't have to take any tests.
Hey.
No final exams for Harry. And so then he decides that the next time he's in Hogsmeade, he was going to literally buy a huge amount of socks for Dobby as a massive, massive thank you. He's tied for first.
That is cute.
And that ends the chapter. Lightning bolt round.
I heard there's a pooch in the next one.
Quality.
I asked the other day for, this is not my photos, for some questions on Instagram. That's a picture of me. That's a picture of me.
A couple people put some in Discord too.
Yep.
Okay.
That's fine.
Do it.
What's Christine? There's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Christine Fairchild says, "What's the Hogwarts Wi-Fi password?"
Hogwash.
No,
are you,
they
Meg?
wouldn't say that because they like Hogwarts.
Raspin Spa.
I bet you it would be like their whole phrase with no spaces. The Draco Dormine, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Alternating caps and lowercase.
Oh my gosh.
Tickle dragon.
She also asks, what method would you use during this task?
Oh, gillyweed.
I would like to use gillyweed, but I feel like I probably would have ended up using a bubblehead charm.
I feel like I would try to transfigure myself.
I think I would have tried Transfiguration.
I would get aqua lungs.
Honestly, I probably would have bowed out of this one.
I give up.
Been like, oh, lake, hour, underwater, weird creatures. No
0
thanks.
points.
This person on Instagram, it says Wizards meme. If you were a Tri-Wizard champion, would you procrastinate like Harry or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
always.
Oh, yeah.
1000% I would.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my speed.
Like, I would be the night of the task. This is what I do when I, like, because I tend to, when I'm an anxious Annie, I tend to ignore the problem.
Yes, me too.
Until the very last moment. Like, that's part of my anxiety. Like, I'll just, like, if I ignore it, it's going to go away, which it doesn't, so don't do that. And I would literally probably be in bed by 10 or 11 and be like, I'll just figure it out in the morning. Like, I'm just going to go to sleep. And I tried all of these things. And if worst comes to worst, I will just swim.
I'd be working on that egg the second I got it. And because I like to get things, like, done and out of my way so then I can relax.
I mean, ideally, because then you feel great.
Yeah, that's why I do
But
it.
I don't always do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kate.
If Harry went to the Yule
This is
Ball...
from Vinny.
Thank you. If Harry went to Yule Ball with Cho, would she be the something Harry lost? In that case, who would be Cedric's?
See, I don't think she would. And then I think it would, if that did happen, I think it would be Cedric's dad. I think they would bring his dad in.
I was gonna
thing.
gonna say his dad would have been, but I also agree that I don't think Cho ever would have made it to that level by this point.
No.
I mean, like Ron and
he
Hermione.
likes her. He doesn't, like, love her. He loves Ron.
Yeah, but, like,
Right.
does Crumb love Hermione?
I think so.
He does.
Oh,
I think he does.
Can you love someone that quickly? You think?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I wanna know.
It depends on who you are. You know?
No, I don't know. I've never been in love.
Some people fall in love super fast.
I got another question from Zagram. And this is from Millie, I believe. If you were in the Tri-Wizard tournament, which person would be in the lake? For you.
Meg.
You guys just said it at the same time, so it sounded like matey.
Miss Rose would be in the lake, and I think Miss Rose would be in the lake for you, too.
It could be.
Or your mommy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to answer
Silence.
for yourself.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I there's a couple of people in my head that would probably be in the lake.
Jen.
I don't know.
Jen.
Probably. She'd be mad at me if she doesn't like getting her hair wet.
We have to say something that Vinny said in the chat.
Oh my god, it made me laugh. Go ahead. Do you want to say it?
You can say it.
If Moses was a wizard, he would have solved this task easily.
Oh, I love it. He parted the black lake.
Make me a path right to Wheezy.
That's so funny.
That's funny. Good one.
Christine Fairchild also asks, what underwater creatures would you want to see?
Kelpie.
I would want to see the squid in
Oh.
all its glory.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. No, thank you.
Munch-
I would
Munching on toasties.
want to see a Kelpie, probably. They look really beautiful.
Yeah.
I would want all of these sea creatures to just not be by me.
I mean,
yeah,
realistically,
they
yeah,
kinda
that
freak me
would be me. Yeah.
I mean, I could look at it far away, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
10 feet in front of me. I have
Behind
another
glass.
question from, it's Hufflepuff Boy, except Huffle is spelled incorrectly. If your precious item was a food, what would it be?
Oh, mac and cheese.
Pizza.
I don't know what mine would be.
Steak.
Oh.
Although, if that's going to be in the water, there needs to be a bubble around it, because soggy
Right.
pizza is no bueno.
But like,
Yeah.
what is that? What if that was your prize? You get to eat it, and if you like every minute that you are late to getting it, like water starts seeping in. So you gotta get to it before the hour's up.
gross.
I would say either potates, like some kind of potato.
Potatoes, yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what else I really love to
I like-
eat. Oh, my dad's chili.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so good. It's so good, man.
You're so bizarre.
Bizarre. How bizarre? How bizarre.
Christine asks, would Lumos work underwater? I think it would.
I think so.
Because it's not like fire. It's just light.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they're able to have fires underwater in SpongeBob, so ask them how it happens.
True.
True that.
Ask that next one.
What,
If you kill an this is also from Christine. If you kill an animagi in their animal form, do they turn back into a human?
I think they do.
I think
they
so.
do.
So
'cause the magic's
The
gone.
magic's dead.
Think if she squished her and then it was like all of a sudden a dead Rita in her hands.
The small one?
No, but like a full grown like, oh my hand is broken. I got Rita in my hands.
Don't put me in Rita hand.
I got another question. This is from Sarah, not me. What do you think Judy would have done if Harry Potter could not have figured out the egg?
He would have straight up told him while he was walking down.
He would have dove in there with him.
Handed him Gillyweed?
Who?
Yeah,
Judy.
I think
Oh.
so. He had a job to do, you know?
He would have figured something out, even if it was like finding Myrtle himself and being like, go in there and take him to where he needs to go.
Yeah. Vinny says, where do you think the CO2 goes in the bubblehead charm? Does it whenever
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when they
Like,
breathe out, does it just regenerate as oxygen again or something?
Maybe it
Think
gets
so?
secreted out of the bubble.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Like maybe the bubble absorbs it. Like maybe because if you don't know, water is 2 hydrogen to an oxygen. So maybe it secretes. That sounds bad. Sorry, but maybe it secretes through the bubble the CO2 out, and that's how it's absorbing the oxygen. The oxygen's coming from the water.
But you can use that charm outside of water. But then I guess it would just do it from the
maybe
air.
like while you're under there, because it's
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there's also oxygen in the air, so it
True.
secretes it out. It's sort of like osmosis, but like with O2 and CO2.
I like it.
Science.
Okay. Science.
Diana asks, what do you think the pepper up potion tastes like?
Peppermint.
I also think peppermint.
Peppermint.
And
See,
I think because the pepper up potion.
I was
peppermint.
thinking like Big Red.
Oh.
I'm
I
still
like cinnamon.
big
Yeah, cinnamon. Yeah.
cinnamon. You know what I used to do
Shout
with
out
Big
to
Red
Bring It
Gum?
On.
Yeah.
I used to, my cousin and I used to lick the wrapper and stick it on our forehead.
Oh my
And if you stuck it there for a while, it would start to burn.
I don't even mind.
Can you guess which cousin I did that with?
I don't want to.
Who do you think it would be?
More.
No, Emily. I didn't hang with Maura like that when I was a kid.
What did the audience do and see during the task? It was over an hour and they can't see anything going on. This is also from Diana.
But do you think that they had, like, you know when you go to, like, concerts and you can't see the stage, really, so they have the big screen. They have a big screen, the big screen that's, like, showing you up close. Do you think they did something like that, like a little mini TV?
What if
Like the
what if
Hunger
the mer
Games?
people like
Yeah.
The Hunger
talk
Games.
to each other, and then like somebody was the commentator?
Ooh,
and they just
yeah.
had, like a commentator throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Interesting. I like that idea, too.
So basically,
I
it
don't-
was like the old news radio.
I think that literally they didn't see anything because nobody knew that Harry made it first.
But, like, why all
True.
sit there then? Like, that's gotta be boring, because
Yeah.
you were there for an hour
And it's
before
cold.
Cedric came out.
Yeah.
And then they say in the chapter, like, it was a while after Cedric came that Harry finally popped up.
Over an
you know?
hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like an hour and a half, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So no commentator, just bored.
I legitimately think that there was just nothing going on. I really think it was like Puffs. How like everybody
think that
dives into the water and like then they're just staring and they're like waiting for any movement at all. Like, are they gonna come up? Are they back? Are they back?
I would have gone back into the castle and been like, somebody tell me what happened.
Just
I'm
tell
not
me what
sitting out
happened.
here in February.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like, you would have gone out and be like, okay, so this, like, the test starts at what time did it start? 9:30?
It was early.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, I'll be out here in, like, 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the last 10, 15 minutes, I'll come out and see what happens. I have another question from the Gram, and it's
Okay.
from Tiff, and it says, who helped Harry more, Moaning Myrtle or Dobby?
Dobby.
I think Dobby.
Dobby. Because
There's
Harry
no way
could
he
have
would've
meandered.
handled it.
Yeah.
Because even if Harry had never figured out what was in the egg, at that moment, Dobby would have told him. You know, like Dobby knew anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
I feel like Dobby was like, dude, everybody knows what the task is. How did you not know?
Right.
Here's Gilly. Choo, choo, choo.
All right. Shall we
Fan
move
story?
on? Yes, please.
So, fun fact. So, this week's comes from Kimberly Valle, which I had always pronounced valet in the Facebook chat, but because people know me now, they put pronunciations for me. So she says, "Hi, Swishers. I'm Kimberly Valle. I've been a listener for several months and figured it was time to send in my Potter story as we start Goblet of Fire. Good timing. Let me start with my Potter profile. I'm a Ravenclaw. My Overmorning house is Thunderbird. Woo woo woo. My wand is Aspen Wood with a unicorn hair, 10 inches and reasonably supple.
I always think that is like, oh, that wand comes from Colorado.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Also, my Patronus is a chow dog, which is perfect
Aw,
because
those are cute.
I always picture a crazy giant floof attacking a Dementor. And she did attach pictures in the email, and they're very cute. And it cheers me right up. My Potter story starts off similarly to many others. I had no interest in Potter at first. I was really into shows like Charmed or reruns of Bewitched and thought to myself, a magical world that requires a wand to do magic or a broom to fly is really outdated and cheesy. Also, the male counterpart of a witch is a warlock, not a wizard, so obviously the series can't be good. Well, one summer when I was about 9 years old, my aunt, who took care of me while my parents were at work, brought me back a stack of books from the library for a bit of light reading that included Goblet of Fire. She told me that she had heard that Harry Potter was very popular and that I might enjoy it. My aunt didn't drive, so I knew she really put a lot of effort into going to the library to bring me back books. I figured it was only polite to show my appreciation for her efforts by reading what she brought me, even if it included Harry Potter. So there I was, reading about this poor guy Frank eavesdropping on some weird minion named Wormtail, and he ends up murdered in the first chapter of the book. Oh yeah, and who's Harry Potter that wakes up 200 miles away? I was hooked. Up to this point, I had only read book series that took place in the same universe, but never depended on a particular order. The moment I discovered I was reading the 4th book of the series, I told my aunt that we had to start from the beginning. I finished the 4 available books just in time for Sorcerer's Stone to come out in theaters and have been obsessed ever since. My aunt passed away days after my 15th birthday, and I'll always mourn the fact that she never saw just how much she impacted my life by introducing me to this world. Potter became a focal point for me to bond with my dad and meet some of my lifelong best friends. My husband even proposed to me with a custom-made golden snitch ring box.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm sure he said many wonderful things during the proposal. I was so shocked that the only thing I could process at the time was when he said, "I open at the start of this new journey."
Aww.
All I could think was, that's sweet, but it's not how the quote goes. That's awesome. Oh, thank you, ladies, for the wonderful community you've built. Listening to the podcast fills me with so much joy and always reminds me to hold on to the magic in times of darkness. Keep up the amazing work and don't let the muggles get you down. Kimberly, thank you so much. I think your aunt for sure knows how much you have grown to love this whole community and this whole series and fandom, and I think she's pretty proud of herself. So
I'm sure she's happy.
But thank you so much for sharing your story. I relate so much to like always wanting the quotes to be right. That's hilarious. So thank you, and thanks for being part of our community.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You can find us on Facebook at Swish and Flick Podcast and on Twitter and Instagram at SwishFlickcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/SwishFlickcast to gain access to a bunch of bonus features, including Discord and monthly hangouts, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're interested, make sure you check us out on Patreon. Lastly, we designed new Pride merchandise for the month of June, and if you go to swishflickcast.com, it is the featured collection on the website, and also if you go to merchandise, you can click Pride, and you can find all of it there, and 100% of the proceeds from this merchandise are being donated to Glisten, which...
I said it wrong in the last episode.
Oh, that's okay. Which helps with making sure that kids have a safe environment to go to school in away from bullying, who are a part of the LGBT community. And it's just, you know, I mean, the LGBT community is obviously important to us, as Katie and I are a part of it, and Sarah and Tiffany are amazing allies for us and for everybody in the community. So if you want to support a really great cause, like, we are not making any money on this merchandise, go and check out the Pride collection, pick out something. There's something as cheap as stickers and most, you know, as expensive as a blanket. So, you know, depending on what you buy, the donation will be a different amount, obviously. And I create, also, if you're interested in just donating to Glisten, if you go to our Facebook page, I started a a fundraiser for Glisten on our Facebook page. I'm going to pin the post because I think it may have gotten lost by now, but I will repost it and I will pin it to the top of our page so that if you don't want to go and buy merch, that's fine. If you just want to donate to Glisten, help us out and reach our goal, and go and make any amount donation on our Facebook page to the cause.
Also, and I said this in the last episode, the merch is beautiful.
Yeah, good job, ladies.
Like, I can't wait for the
you.
stuff that we got to come in.
I'm so
Like,
excited.
I don't need a tumbler, but I want one.
Same.
I don't need another blanket, but I'm getting one.
And I was thinking that, like, maybe every month or every other month we'll pick a new LGBT charity to donate the money to, and
Whatever we
just,
sell from the Pride collection.
yeah, and we can just continue doing it from the Pride collection.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
I like that idea.
all right,
Share
Tiffany,
our wealth.
what's
Yeah.
up with your life?
Currently on vacay.
Vacay all day! Yep.
Planning Alana's birthday. Have to be getting like food and stuff for all of that pretty soon. And gonna be going down to Columbus to do the presentation about Swish.
Well, we would have done it by the time this comes out.
Well, this is where I'm at right now. It looks great, thanks to Megan. Did you work on that by yourself?
I did.
She did.
Good job, Meg, because it looks very pretty. And I'm excited. So we're going to be doing a couple of giveaways down there in Columbus. And I do, well, you can find me on Twitter at @tiffswish_flick. And I have a little special guest sitting with me. This is my niece, Lily. And Lily, you got to talk really loud. Can you say hi to all the Swish and Flick listeners?
Hi.
Hi, Lily.
Let's ask her a couple of questions. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. What is your favorite fruit? Favorite fruit.
Or food.
Well, you could do just food.
Apples.
Apples. Good
Nice.
choice. What is your favorite animal?
A deer.
Ooh, I like that. And what do you like to do for fun?
I like to go to the fairs.
You like to go to fairs.
Fun.
Good
Good.
choice.
Good options. All right. Do you want to say something, Hazel? What do you want to? Come here. I have Hazel here too. She's my other niece. What do you want to say to all the people who are listening?
I like rabbits.
Like rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Good color.
And what's your favorite food to eat? Because I know you enjoy yourself a snack.
The cookies with the cream.
Like Oreos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Thank you, ladies.
I wanted to plug two things here. First of all, I wanted to tell everybody that we're going to be at the Wizardly World of Kent in July again. That's on July.
Coming up so soon.
It's so soon. It's on July 27th, and we are going to be hosting trivia again, which was a lot of fun. And then also we're going to be doing a live podcast. So we're not really sure exactly what we're going to do yet, but
Or how we're going to do it.
yeah, but we'll get there. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have our booth. We're going to try and come up with some fun things for the booth to like get people in, or, you know, keep them in, make it interactive so that people can enjoy coming and talking to us, and we'll have some giveaways.
And while we're not doing trivia or the podcast, which
We'll be
will be
hanging
about an
out.
hour each, we'll be hanging out there. And I mean, it's an all-day event, so if you're gonna be coming, come hang out. Like, we just want it to be like a big Swish hang.
Yeah.
And then right next door to that, also Meg and I'll have our Akio business, so
With posters.
you can check that out too.
All kinds of fun stuff. And then also, you can follow along on Katie and I's daily adventures with our daily vlogs, which is on YouTube at the Petrus Family. And sometimes we're vlogging Swish recording, and sometimes we're vlogging us cleaning our room. I don't know. It's different every day. It's really just like what we do. So, it's fun though.
What we do, baby boo.
Yep, that's me too.
I should have let you plug the Petrus Family. I'm sorry.
Hey,
just
Petrus
kept going.
Family. Go check it out. Sweet.
Love it.
Sarah, what are you up to?
Not much. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, what
We
are
went to Columbus. We did some things.
It hasn't happened yet.
I know, but by the time this is done, like this is out, it has happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you want to see a little blip of what the presentation looks like, I put a little bit of it on our daily vlog.
Okay.
I believe that it's the one that is titled Tour of Google, because it's just like a little blip, but Katie got to tour Google in New York the other day, so that's what the vlog is mostly about. And then at the end of it, I added what I worked on that night, which was the presentation, so you can see a little bit of what I did.
Cool. That's cool.
I'm getting ready to go on vacation for a week. And my niece's first birthday, and it's gonna be a mosh. And things are happening this coming week when we're in Columbus, so I'm hoping things go my way, but if it doesn't, whatever. Just send me good vibes. That's all
You got
I can ask
this.
for. I'm just super nervous. Like, I can't even think about it, so
You're fine.
I don't know. I just hope it goes my way. If it doesn't, it's not meant to be.
Good attitude. But you got this.
Yeah. So that's it. Follow me on O'Malley and on Instagram.
O'Malley.
3 H's.
3 inches.
1 O. And you'll see what's happening. So that's my life.
All right, ladies, for Voldemort and Valor. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just like my voice! There's literally something wrong with us.
It's all about me.
She's moving the microphone around to only face her.
I don't want to talk to you. Okay. So, guys, let me tell you a funny story. Broke my phone last weekend,
Like for real, broke.
Oh, ow.
So then, that was Saturday. So then Sunday, I went and got like a heavy duty screen protector.
Mm-hmm.
It's already broken as well. But so like when we were kids, because we would always vacation up in Catawba, they would always talk about the undertow. They're like, you have to watch out. Like, you don't know what the undertow is going to do. Like, it could just take you like that, blah, 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 blah. So I thought the undertow was a monster. Like, it was gonna come and get me.
New shirt.
I literally was like, oh gosh, like terrified I'm gonna see this underwater monster that's gonna like grab some kids.
Oh my god. That's so sad.
Maybe it would look like a kelpie, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a big
I was picturing it being
group of
green.
seaweed looking thing just comes and grabs
You know, word on the street is it's not easy being green.